Hello, welcome to Shattermare Live, the exciting live show podcast, whatever we're calling it these days.
Shit show.
Episode 25. Can you guys believe this? 25
That's
episodes
wild.
of us dicking around, and we don't even do it regularly every week. Mostly
Who'd thought?
2024, but it's a new year, and in 2025, I'm excited to be joined by my co-hosts William and Kyle.
Yeah, episode 25 in the year 2025.
Uh-oh. That's the prophecy.
I catch that.
The prophecy is foretold. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Doing well. I had a great new year. How about you fellas?
Hold on, your mic is low for some reason.
Is it?
It wasn't, and now it is. Say something?
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Just a little noisy in the background, but we'll be okay.
Well,
I'll move the
where I am, it's starting to get a little bit colder. So
I'm not in Southern
Ooh,
California, folks. So I'm not in LA. So I'm doing just fine. But
That's
those
good.
LA people
oh yeah,
voted for. Wow, what a mess that tragedy is.
Yeah, so much has happened, man. Man, so much in the news, so much nerd shit.
I did see Nosferatu.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's one on my list. I saw what movie came out before. I don't know. I'm kind of connected to like world news and politics, but I'm not connected to like pop culture stuff because I've been in Colombia for almost 2 months. And here the weather is weird. Super weird. It's like a mixture between California and Florida. And not Florida right now where it's actually cold. Like Florida in the springtime.
huh?
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Turning the fan off behind me.
I mean, California's like right now divided in half. We had a nice kind of a spring day here, and in Southern California, they're in hell. God.
Wait, what? Hold on. You have to catch me up. What actually happened out there?
Are you not?
Just
Forest
wildfires. Going
Oh,
on.
my
wildfires?
God.
More wildfires?
Malibu, Palisades, the whole west coast of LA is literally it's 0% contained.
Damn.
They
It's
they
apocalypse
had
out there.
they had no water in the fire hydrants. They do not have enough firefighters. It's to this point at 0%. The Santa Ana winds are blowing in off the desert at this time of year, and so
Sure,
you got these winds blowing to the west coast, and they're taking embers, miles, and these winds can get up to 100 miles an hour. So it's in the water management and forest management has been dog shit in this state under
of course.
Newsom and even before. And Donald Trump called them out on it years ago, and they poo-pooed him. They said it's climate change, and so now these
It's
people
all
are
natural.
paying the price of electing. And guess where the LA mayor was with all of this? She was in Ghana.
Really?
She was
Why?
in Ghana when this shit is going. I don't even think
Yeah, I'm
she's
so disconnected from all this. I didn't know any of this shit was. I mean, to be fair though, like if you still live in California, especially around the LA area, just you need to move. You need to get the fuck out of there.
it's bad. It's
Living on the West Coast is like
it might be the worst fire thing to happen because it's still not contained. Day 2 or 3, and the most expensive homes are going up. And here's the caveat, folks. So California had some kind of insurance rules, and they put these rules or charges on insurance companies. So insurance companies said, well, in order to stay, I guess, I don't know, reasonable, we're going to drop fire insurance. So a lot of these
Yeah.
people do not have fire insurance on top of it.
Oh, yeah, they're just fucked. That's like here where companies are leaving or they're it's wacky with insurance because of hurricane insurance because we get hurricane. So like your wildfires are like our hurricane. Where
Mhm.
you're
It's like insurance against like everything except for the thing you actually need insurance for.
Exactly right.
yeah, well, because every year it keeps driving up the prices because people still want to live there, and nature doesn't give a shit. They're just going to keep happening. So yeah, it's pretty unfortunate.
They don't know what caused it. Again, but we have very shitty power. You know, they let vegetation grow close to power lines and they don't care. And then, you know, that's
Well,
something President Trump did talk about years ago, and they poo pooed him and said, no,
yeah,
it's
I
climate change.
mean,
It's climate change.
your state and mostly the major cities are kind of run by complete retards.
Yeah. And there were issues where they could
It's
have
not like
had
these people are engineers.
a water pipeline from Alaska to here. And Gavin Newsom put the kibosh on that because of the lemming. Wanted to save the lemming.
Yeah.
And there's certain
Okay.
dams
Well,
and things. So,
I mean, these are the consequences of retards who care more about fucking lemmings than their own citizens that they
right.
govern. So,
But
I mean, everyone's moving.
they get
Everyone with a
elected.
brain is moving.
They get elected. They get elected. And it was kind of
Okay.
like karma. It's like, well, you kind of reap what you sow.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
get what
know.
they deserve, but
You
people are still
gotta
there.
you got a fucking mayor who's in Ghana, and the guy who lost to her is doing more for people right now than she probably ever will. She'll go out and give a
Yeah.
speech and look good as a DEI hire, and then you know
Yeah,
where's the relief?
politicians just care about looking good. They don't give a shit. So, well, yeah, that sucks for them.
So that's what's going on. You can Google it; it's everywhere on the news.
Mm,
It's
I
bad.
just saw that. I just saw that Mark Zuckerberg and is announcing that the department that determines the rule violations they're moving to Texas.
Yeah,
So I think everyone is
fact
quickly
checker,
just fleeing. Huh?
fact checkers is what they're called.
Yeah, the moderators or whatever. So I mean, you know, some things are healing. Nature is obviously healing in California.
Well, I
Taking
think
its
with Facebook, it's one of those things where they're losing a huge market share to Twitter, and he knows it, and he knows why. And maybe he was forced in those days to by the FBI and these other agencies to quash certain topics like Hunter Biden laptop or ivermectin for COVID or any of that stuff. But at some point, and maybe he's a true believer, I really don't know, but it's hurt your credibility and people are not using Facebook and you know it and you know why, you know.
yeah. Well, also younger people don't use Facebook, so like
Yeah.
he's not going to get adults in our age cat like between Kyle and I age to your age, William. Like you're not going to get us there
No.
unless because that's the kind of stuff we care about. But kids just aren't using that anyways. They're on TikTok, which is a pretty free platform. I mean,
Yeah.
all things considered, like they don't really. I mean, I guess it goes back and forth, but
Or Twitter. I mean, Twitter's rock and roll.
X is well a little bit. As long as you don't talk bad about things that Elon Musk thinks is bad,
Yeah.
then you're still going to get censored because they haven't really changed the algorithm, from what I understand, at X before Elon bought it. So yeah, I think I'm left wing again. It's kind of weird. Like I was talking to people, and I'm like, but I'm not left wing for the same reason that most people are left wing liberals. Like I don't believe in any of that bullshit. But there's like a couple of very key issues about Trump and like a lot of people that are Republicans that got elected and people he's putting in his cabinet that are doing some pretty sketchy stuff. And so I'm like,
Well, that
yeah, I'm
happened in
not
his
really.
first administration too. He has made bad decisions. um, his first time around, and there were things I was critical of him.
Well, here I won't beat around the bush. I'll just say it. Like, I didn't vote for Trump because I wanted to be ruled by Israel. Like, I didn't vote Trump into office. I voted because I care about America, and I guess, in that America First camp.
A true listener to TFM. No, I'm just
What?
with you. No, and TFM gets a lot of that. The
Yeah, but it's
Jews are
true.
taking over type of thing, and yeah,
I mean, they come out and say like Trump's the best elected official they've ever had in office. Those aren't my words.
again,
Like, so
who have we had to really choose from? I mean, it really
yeah,
is
but
stealing from Peter to pay Paul, and the whole thing is just corrupt. I mean,
yeah, but I'm still gonna bitch about it because it's fucked up.
of course.
Like, so now I'm I guess anti right wing if Trump installs all these people in his cabinet and like their whole agenda is just start World War III on behalf of Israel. It's
I
pretty
mean, you can
fucked up.
criticize people on both sides of the aisle. You don't have to carte blanche be like, "Oh, everyone on this side is right about everything." You know,
Oh yeah.
that's what independent thought is. And honestly,
yeah.
I feel like most people are independent thinkers, but I feel like the most vocal people are not independent thinkers. So the people who are most vocal tend to be like the carte blanche type people. But then part of that is also like because they're all bots. So
Yeah, there's a lot of bots just reinforcing bullshit.
Taxes, where if you pay alimony, it's no longer tax deductible. Do you know he did that?
Oh, I know he did that. I was telling people about that. Most people didn't know that.
I was angry about that.
Yeah, he also put in a bunch of red flag laws.
Yeah.
It's horribly anti-Second Amendment. Like,
yeah. So
horrible violation of the Fourth and Second Amendment.
Yep. I criticized him vehemently on that. I'm not part
And the
of
NRA supported it.
where he can do no wrong. I think there's times he's missing.
that's weird.
You know.
What's weird?
But the NRA would support something that's anti-Second Amendment.
Well, because they're not really for. See, that's the thing about they're like people who are right wing or like conservative or traditional, whatever you want to call it. They don't have a party. Like they don't have someone who really supports them. So like the NRA will flip immediately, but they have like a really good marketing scheme. So they're like, okay, we purport to defend your rights and share your values, and like we're a big gun owner lobbying group. And then when it basically any time it matters, when it matters, those groups and conservative like Republicans or rhinos, whatever you want to call them, they always cuck out. Always.
Because they're only for a topic or whatever when they don't
cunts.
have the power to do anything about it. Because then they can lobby against it and make money off donations.
Right. Exactly.
But if like everything changed, then they
God
would be
forbid.
like, okay, I guess we're done. Let's all go home, and then they wouldn't have any money.
I believe that I should own a rocket launcher.
Right. Well, that's because they're the outer party. It's like in 1984 how you had the inner party and the outer party. So it's like whatever party is not in power, the other party in the two-party system's the outer party. So like they just shake their fist in the air and they say, "Oh, look how shitty this person is. Oh, look,
It's
they're
like
ruining
it's about everything except for the thing that's supposed to be about."
Yeah. Like I left, I basically quit voting in 2000 with Bush and Gore and all that shit. And I didn't vote again until Trump in 2016 because at least some of his policies made sense. I didn't support Bush ever. I didn't support Obama ever. I didn't support Mitt Romney ever. Trump was the only guy who at least had some sense. Don't agree 100%, never will. But
yeah, but the problem is like if they don't actually do anything, like I mean, this time around I kind of just voted him to give people the middle finger again.
Yeah,
because it's like I knew the first time around he didn't do much, and as soon as it's getting closer and closer to,
he did quite a bit. He did, but he was again.
Well,
they handcuffed them as much as they could, Republicans and Democrats.
Right. Well, you say that, but he at some point during his first term they had like control of multiple branches of government. So, like he doesn't do work. He doesn't do negative things. But, like people go, okay, well our taxes aren't going to be raised and stuff. So like, yeah, the stock market does well. The economy does pretty good. But
He was great on the economy and world peace. I mean, we weren't really getting involved in wars. We sure as hell weren't giving our money to
yeah,
fucking
I
Ukraine.
mean, yeah, but now what's going to happen? I mean, we'll see.
We'll see.
Like, but see, that's the thing. Yeah, he was good on in certain parts of the world, but then they were bombing Syria. They were doing a bunch of fucking airstrikes against Syria, and they maintained all those illegal military bases. It's like for everything you say, it's like how Obama was supposed to be the super liberal
problem either.
What?
And we didn't have the illegal immigrant problem as bad as it is now.
Yeah, that's all you could say is, oh, it wasn't as bad as this. It's like, well, I don't want something that's less than awful. I want someone to actually fix the fucking problem. So,
Well, he had
like,
a plan, but again, everybody went against it. You have to understand, there's a lot of Republicans who hate him. All the baked-in DC slime, they hate him because they can't control him. He's not going to be a puppet because he has.
well, they aren't controlling him, but he's definitely controlled. Like, just because he doesn't do what they like, just because he talks shit on Twitter,
Yeah.
doesn't mean he have people that are paying him and he's doing things for. That's the thing. It's like when Obama was elected, and I mean, like I can take a step back and look at the things that Obama did objectively from the perspective of a liberal person. Like he was supposed to be like very liberal and progressive, and yeah, he did some stuff openly, like for press reviews that was like, oh hey, look, we're gonna try to legalize gay marriage or whatever, and people cheer, but then in the background he's still fighting a bunch of wars. He's still, like they're doing illegal drone strikes on people. They're doing all kinds of fucked up shit in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And it's all behalf of one country.
Sending $7 billion or whatever to fucking Iran in cash.
Yeah, all kinds of stupid shit. And like all kinds of retarded shit back and forth. Yeah. It's stupid.
The whole thing
So someone here asked me, they're like, well, are you for like the Palestinians? I'm like, I don't give a shit about the Palestinians.
Nope.
I just don't. Can we just stop being the fucking slaves or like the economic slaves of Israel? Like, I don't give a shit. That's their fucking problem. Like, I don't give a shit about Israel either. That's the thing. Like, it's not that I'm anti one or the other. It's like, why do I even need to be pro one or the other? Like, I'm American. I'm American. Why do Jews and Muslims? Huh?
You're like, let it be, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are we picking a side at all? Like, they should have the right to, if they want their own sovereignty, they gotta fucking figure it out.
I mean, look, Israel is composed of a lot of Jews, so getting money and hoarding money shouldn't be a problem.
No.
Right. It isn't. They do it from America. They do it from our tax dollars.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't want to give money, especially when we got people with the Hurricane Helene who are still living in tents.
All the stuff.
And now we got this wildfire
Now
shit.
the wildfires, yeah.
Those people are fucked up.
We're printing a bunch of money to give to fucking Israel so they can try to blow up the fucking Dome of the Rock and install a third Jew temple. It's probably not called the Jew temple. I just made that up, but
Hebrew.
That's,
I don't know.
That's fucking stupid. And so I don't know. So
racist. Do you, Kyle? Do you think Jews racist?
It's like one of the things where it's just a word. So
he's not going to answer.
All right, you don't have to answer. That's cool.
No, they have their own word. It's anti-Semitic.
That's their word. You can't say it.
Yeah, so they beat you over the head with that. Just like people beat you over the head with racism but luckily I think people are starting to wake up and just not give a shit. It's like how racism means nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Like those words just don't matter to people. People aren't as scared of that. So I think they're like, "Oh, you're anti-Semitic," and people are just like, "Shut up, bitch."
Well, a lot of
As you
people care
should.
more about, you know, how you say things rather than what you say for some reason. Like you could say the same thing two different ways, but as long as you don't say it in a way that's offensive, people don't really care.
Uh, I guess, but some people also care about what you say. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, but it's like when you start to look at this kind of stuff, it's really weird because in America, like I'm not super. I mean, I've converted to Catholicism, but I'm not like an Orthodox Christian. Uh, like
Right.
I haven't read the Bible. I'm like getting into more organized religion. So like most of my life, I grew up in modern America, which is like very secular, very generic Christian. And when you start to realize, like, you start to look at all the geopolitical shit and all the stupid stuff that America is involved in because of our government and the foreign affairs, you start to realize you're like, wait a second, all this is about retarded religious bullshit. Like, in a country where we're supposed to be very secular in the West and very, I guess, open to different
Well, I
ideologies and
kind of
especially,
want
especially when hold
that.
on,
Okay.
especially when people are like very atheist, especially in America, because we're in a pretty progressive liberal culture, and like a lot of the institutions are not religious at all. Um, it's really weird when you're like, why the fuck are we doing all this? Oh, because these people want to start a religious war with these other people, and we're using you, we're roping you in to do this, so we can like unlock our like biblical prophecy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What? Why are we even involved in this? I mean, I know why, but like, yeah, God, it's
Well,
dumb.
we are a country founded on Judeo-Christian values. I mean, that just, yes, you have freedom of religion here to a point. Obviously, if it hurts other people or hurts other people's, if you're sacrificing their pets or something in a voodoo, that's wrong. But
Okay, but
we are
a
founded
lot
on
of people make
Judeo-Christian values.
sacrifices.
But this is the thing: when you talk about how progressive we are, but you look at Europe, they're way more progressive. But yet,
Hmm.
Europe at one point in time was 95% Catholic. The only thing
Yeah,
Protestant was England when Martin Luther went there and started the Protestant religion.
yeah,
And
and then Protestants came to America, and even a lot of Catholics came, and they fought. But but in the modern day, most people are not very religious at all.
no, and we've
They're
lost
anti-religious.
we've lost that, and I think that's why society is starting to crumble and things like that. Is we've kind of lost any type of moral structure or accountability to a higher power, and whatever. But
I mean, I think Christians lost the script too.
yeah, they
You
did, and
say
so is the Catholic
like,
Church. This new pope is ridiculous.
but you say like, oh, this country is founded on Judeo-Christian principles. No, it wasn't. It was founded on specifically Protestant Christian principles. And
Okay,
I like the Bible is is it like pretty clear about certain things. I mean, I don't know if you knew this, William, but like the Jews gave up Christ
yeah,
to
they
be
did.
killed
No,
by the road. Like they literally stabbed him, almost
yeah,
literally stabbed him in the
I know
back.
that.
There was the Judas guy, like that turned him in, and they were all
Well,
Jews, and there's a bunch
to
of
this day, they don't
so
acknowledge Jesus Christ. I mean, as
yeah,
the
and that
prophet, they're still waiting for the prophet.
Well, I mean, they rejected him.
Yeah,
Like he came as their Messiah, and they rejected him.
yeah,
And then modern Judaism is not even the same Judaism of the Israelites, like from
right.
thousands of years ago. So,
Actually, most Jews in America actually hate Israel. I mean, there's actually a
well,
civil
if they're,
war between, you know, Americanized Jews and the ones in Israel. It's insane.
I
It's
guess depends
it's
on how
crazy.
America depends on, but they're still loyal to Israel. Like it's not like Americans are loyal to the Vatican. It's not like most Catholics are like secretly, oh, if the Vatican called upon me, I would serve. It's like a very different culture. So, anyways, I don't want to go too deep into it. That's
Anyways,
not
yeah,
what this.
Welcome to our
That's
comic book
that's,
show.
that's not what this stream is for. But
It's
I guess
not.
if we want to go viral, if we want to try to go viral, we should talk about the Jews or whatever. But look, I'm that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Well,
with
here's the
comic books.
thing: you don't need to describe yourself as left or right wing. I don't describe myself as left or right wing or conservative. I really consider myself a modern, but I'm also a critical thinker, and I'm somebody who will look at something, even somebody I support, and say, "Yeah, dude, that ain't right," or "That ain't," and I can admit when I'm wrong if I support somebody and they do something completely that goes against my internal values.
Sure. I just think that most Christians they're like so generically Christian. They haven't done really much any research about their own religion and the Bible. So like they just believe all kinds of shit about Christianity that's complete bullshit.
It is complete
So
bullshit.
I don't know. And that has a lot to do with Trump. So I mean he's not like a Christian president necessarily, but
No, I mean, I think, and I tell people
so
this. I said, look, I'm old school Christian. I'm Catholic. So, meaning I've done my Bible study. I've read this shit. I'm not going to accept certain types of people based on a certain chapter in Corinthians, which is New Testament, which says, blah, blah, blah. But there are certain people in this world getting special treatment by doing things that go against God. Is not the book of Leviticus. It's actually a New Testament book in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9, I think, or something like that. Yeah. And anyways, but
yeah.
these people don't know that. They'll have rainbow flags on their churches, and
Nope, you muted
it's like
yourself.
no, rainbow flags don't belong on your church if you're a Christian. Uh, if you're a
That's what
Christian,
I'm saying. So they're basically just, but they're very progressive.
yeah,
They're basically not Christians at all. That's why I say like they're very generically Christian.
yeah.
So if you're that generic and you don't even have any idea, like, then why do you care? Why do you support? So I don't
If
know.
you're going to support Jesus Christ, you have to sacrifice. Okay, and it isn't just happy go lucky and this love, love, love bullshit. You have to sacrifice. You have to follow the word. You can't, like my brother does this, him and his partner. My brother's gay.
But nobody agrees on what the word is. Like there's different interpretations
No,
of everything,
it's in
and
the
No,
book.
it's there. They just
It's there.
bullshit. Yeah, they just
that's why
people
there's
just
so
want to
many
bullshit.
different denominations because everyone constantly has arguments about what X means or what Y means.
Right,
Or
but in Catholicism, that is the word, and
Yeah,
the other
Catholicism hasn't
denominations
really
kind of
changed for like
yeah, it
well, this,
hasn't.
since the
well, what's simple about Catholicism is the Pope is like, this is what it is, and you're like, well, I can't disagree with the Pope, or else I'm
uh
not Catholic, right? I mean,
no, that's not true.
Well,
Like
the
the Pope
Pope is
has to
deemed to
follow
be
within.
infallible, but that's also bullshit. Because I understand Martin Luther for going against the Pope in those days because it was corrupt. The Catholic Church ran the government.
Yeah, but like every left wing revolution, they threw the baby out with the bathwater.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, let's get rid of a bunch of shit that's not necessary. Like, you don't have to get rid of it. And that just kept snowballing into a very secular society. So we are where we are today. But like, yeah, it's fine. It's just politics. I mean, it's hasn't people haven't really changed. I was just saying, like, it's disappointing, I guess, because I guess it's really no different than people on the left. Like, and I'm just using those because we're in America and that's what people typically associate with politics. So, like, in left wing people, I guess this happens when they get an establishment candidate and they are like, "Oh, you're not left wing enough. Like, what are you doing? Not doing anything." So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, okay, well, we voted for this guy. It's like, are you gonna do anything? Or are you just like everyone's uh has this veil, like this fog of, oh yeah, we are so good, we won, we took back the country, and meanwhile, like, these people are really probably gonna fuck us hard in the ass.
Yeah.
So I just warning you. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I agree. I mean, there's a lyric by a band called King's X, and they said, who are these people behind the stained glass window? Have they forgotten just what they came here for? Is this salvation, or are they scared of hell? Or is this simply just a social situation? You know, and that's basically
Hope we
what
don't get copyright. Hope we don't get copyrights.
I didn't say it though, but that's basically what Christianity. I mean, in America and probably Europe too, and that's fine. I'm not gonna, whatever. But that's very good. You know, it kind of cuts to the problem. I'm like, do you really believe, or are you just here on Christmas and Easter because you feel like you have to be?
Yeah, well, I was saying that because the point is most people are that way, and if you really boil it down, they are that way. They don't, and there's so many different sects, like Kyle said, like people don't even know what's what.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it's just mostly useless. Like Protestantism is mostly
Is it?
useless.
Yeah,
But
you
the
got
but
Mormons, you got Jehovah's Witnesses, you got
yeah,
Catholics,
there's
you got.
a million. There's like
It's like,
more. It's like all the genders. It just means
yeah,
nothing.
that's
But the
actually a good point. That's a good parallel. It's like it started with religion, like all these genders and all these beliefs based on the same thing, but not quite the same. And huh,
yeah, it's just political. But what I'm saying is when you start to understand how much of the world is still operates based off like esoteric, whatever you want to call it, religious, esoteric, like occult kind of ideologies, like mentality, like the people that run, I guess what you'd say, like run the show. The average person uh, would probably be shocked. Shocked. Anyways, so
we're not
enough
that.
about religion and politics. Um,
Let's get some comic book news.
yeah. Well, before we start talking about more random tangential bullshit, we have some housekeeping. So for the people listening, we're getting very close to the release of issue 1 of Mercenary Guild. So I'm very excited about that.
Ooh.
And also very close to the, I guess, launch of Hardly Heroes issue 10. So we're going to do those, I think, pretty much back to back. And for those people who are local, like Florida or like the East Coast or the Southeast, I think we're going to be, I don't say debuting it at MegaCon, but MegaCon's one of the biggest shows, like well, if you could still call it a comic convention, we'll call it Pop Culture Comic Convention in
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida. So it's gonna be super fun. We're gonna have
San Diego Comic Con East.
yeah, yeah, of the Southeast, pretty much. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gearing up for that. We're gonna be going on some stream. William mentioned TFM earlier. I gotta hit him up and do a little bit of scheduling, but we're gonna be going on some fun streams and podcasts to market the book, and we have some cool shit planned for like tiers and rewards. So look forward to that, and I'm going to be sending out emails very soon, um, like a generic email blast to everybody on our email list, and then specifically the Mercenary Guild people. So because we got some cool stuff to show off, and we basically haven't showed stuff off for like a year. We've been working on this book for a long time, and now it's almost done. Issue 1.
I tell you, that final panel on the
So,
in the first
oh
volume
shit,
is just awesome. Unbelievable.
yeah, it's cool.
Luke
I
was
like it.
off his ass on that.
Yeah, I like it because it's kind of a nice little bow. Like if you think about the way the cover looks, cover A, and then you see the last page
Yeah.
of issue 1, kind of like it's like poetry,
Yeah,
visual poetry.
I came up
It's
with
great.
it. Wow. It's funny.
And it's finally coming to fruition.
I'll admit it. Like sometimes things just come together. All right.
Yeah. So that's
And
gonna
I
be
love
awesome.
Kyle's
Very
work.
excited for that.
Hardly Heroes. I can't wait to find out what happens with the next, the people they met at issue 9.
Oh yeah. Well, don't get your hopes up too. Let's just say maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll come back. But yeah, Kyle's about to start working on the script for 11. That's cool. We're getting.
I've got a little bit. I got a little bit done on 11, but yeah, definitely. I'm gonna grind it. I'm gonna grind it this weekend.
Hell yeah.
December is just not a good time for doing any.
So
writing
Kyle,
for
let
me.
me ask you, like, when you
No,
write,
we're ramping back up in the new year.
Let me ask Kyle, like, do you set aside certain time periods, or how much do you write at one time?
I've always been the type of person that when I work, I have to do it all on as big of a chunk as possible. I've never been the type of person who's like, I'm going to do an hour a day or anything like that. I'm like,
Is it
I'm gonna
because
be
you're a
working for the next-
procrastinator?
typically, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm kind of the same.
I'm the same way. We're all
I'm the same way. It's like, all right, it's Saturday. I get a cup of coffee, and it's like, put on some Dio, and just start writing. And
Yeah.
I go 4 or 5 hours, whatever, and then, okay, I'm done.
I could tell you what honestly is my worst procrastination story is that in high school I had to read Beowulf, and I did not read Beowulf. So it was like 2 a.m. and I had a paper due on it that first period. So at 2 a.m. I'm like, well, I can watch the movie Beowulf.
Wow.
So I watched the movie Beowulf and wrote a paper and finished it right as school was going to start. So I didn't sleep at all. And
Nice.
I think I did okay. I don't remember what my grade was, but it was not terrible.
Like it was not a fail.
It was not a fail.
That's good. Yeah,
I totally deserved it.
Yeah, you just give me flashbacks to like when I would be sitting in the library writing a paper when it was due in 3 hours. Oh man, good times. But now that we're not in school though, and we kind of set our own deadlines, yeah, I find that I guess we'll just call this segment like writer's block, the writing block of Shattermare Live. Like if you have to do something, I don't want to get distracted a million times. And I don't want to have to worry about, okay, well, I can only do this for like 2 hours, so I'm just gonna, and then I have to go do a thing. It's nice.
You gotta get into a rhythm too, you know?
Yeah, we get in like the zone. You get into a good rhythm, and then you just crank it out.
Yeah, I don't want to stop if I get into a rhythm.
Mornings are so good for me because
Right.
I can just cup of coffee and then just go, and I don't have to deal with any. I'm not like wound up from work or anything like that, and I can just go, and that's the fun part.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't want to lose ideas because once you have good ideas start to flow to you, you don't want to have to pick it back up and then be like, oh shit.
Well, I have a tablet by my bed, so if I come up with an idea, something I dream up or something, I'll write it down, whether it's music or something for the story. Like when I came up with for issue 2, well, I'm not gonna get fuck it. Um, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Spoiler alert.
But there was a certain thing where the
Pretty far ahead.
there's a certain thing where the courtyard comes into play, and Zeth's ability to raise the dead comes into play, and I'm like, God, that would be cool. I never, when it just came to me, and I wrote it down,
Nice.
and it's like, okay, get this
Yeah, I mean,
to the dead.
you have to have some kind of constraint because otherwise, like some people we know, they'll be in a situation where you're like, hey, we got to get this shit done, and it'll still not be done or take a long time or whatever. But it's good to be able to sit down and knock something out.
No, but I
Like,
want to pick Kyle's brain because he pumps out a lot of good stuff, and I just want to see what kind of his approach to it. Because if again, whatever I can glean from him, I'm gonna take. No offense. I mean, I work habits or what have you. Because I
Oh
like
yeah,
his
no,
work.
I mean everyone works differently, but yeah.
all right, ready? Here's the secret, William. You got to find someone, you got to find a buddy, and you guys got to plan a road trip. And on the 4 to 6 hour drive to wherever your destination is, then you got to pull out your laptop and then you got to crank out like 20 pages. That's what Kyle used to do when we'd go like drive up and down Florida
We
to
go to a
shops or
convention
whatever. Yeah, we go to
or
the
shops,
convention,
yeah.
and I just put on like a TFM show, and he would tune it out and be typing up a issue.
Shit.
So there you go. Put some white noise on in the background.
Dude, that is
So you can
like
help focus.
stud level stuff, man. In a moving car. Wow.
Yeah, you can't get motion sick. That's the thing.
Yeah, if you're a type of person who gets motion sick, goodbye.
Then you're
But I don't
fucked.
have that
Yeah.
problem, so sucks to suck.
Yeah, you could also go, look like a hipster and go to like a coffee shop and sit there on your computer.
Oh yeah,
I
I
don't
do
really. How often do you do that?
that. I don't know, but I do that.
Hmm.
I do it for my day job too.
I just go to a bar.
So you're kind of used to it.
I go to a bar instead.
You go to a bar? Is that noisy?
Huh?
How? I mean, there's like people in the background and stuff.
There's a dive bar where I go to, and yeah, I mean, there's noise from here to there, but sometimes there isn't. And there's people who come in during the day, and they got their laptops, and they're doing shit.
That's funny.
There was that guy, the Volstead used to always be there working on his computer. I don't know if you remember.
Oh,
Brian.
The older guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what he was doing? He just sitting in the,
He was doing something. He was on his computer. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always in a leather chair, just sitting in the back working on something. Which I always thought is weird because he was in there when it was like, it's a packed out bar.
He just liked the drinks they made, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. If I go to a coffee shop, sometimes I'll just go work in my car. It's just if it's more peaceful, like if it's if it's not peaceful enough. I mean, obviously, if I'm in my house,
You got to throw in the earbuds
office.
and play some music or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. But then the motion will draw my eye away. So I like basically just an empty room. Huh?
I gotta be at home. I gotta be looking at my swords. I gotta have Dio on in the background.
There you go. Yeah.
Looking at me, like, I gotta get in that mood. And then in the middle, I'll just pick up a sword, start swinging it around. It's like, okay,
Oh, William, I got to show you my Dio collection sometime.
okay.
I'll next time I get all my fucking vinyl records, I'll pull them out. I think I have them mostly in a stack. But for this record store day, they do a lot of. They probably still do it. I just stopped buying them because I didn't want to get a million. I didn't want to get a million of them, but they do like picture discs with a couple of songs or like half an album, and so I have probably a good like 10 different picture discs of different songs that they did.
Cool. I got to meet
They're
him.
pretty cool. Oh, really? That's cool.
And you think you meet somebody for 5 minutes, He spent like an hour and a half talking to us.
Wow.
Yeah,
Was it like after a show, or
it was
you just
after a
ran
show.
into?
It
Yeah.
was in the '90s, so there was only like 300 people at the
Hmm.
show. It's kind of like when his popularity went down, but he still went out there
Yeah.
and it was perfect, And then you talk to him, and it was just amazing. And then there was all kinds of people, and there was somebody who came to him from another show who he talked to, and he asked the guy, he's like, "Yeah, you told me your uncle was dying from cancer. How's he's doing?" Like he remembered
Wow.
this guy,
That's impressive.
like he.
Yeah.
There's a story of him where they were doing Detroit, and the guy couldn't get tickets, or maybe the show finished and he was outside in the winter in Detroit, and he
Hmm.
couldn't get transportation back into the city. And so Dio and all of them are on the bus. They see this guy outside freezing. I guess in Detroit, the venues are far away from the city. And so they brought him on the bus, took him into town, got him a cab so he could get to his hotel room. You know,
That's cool.
this type of guy Dio was. And he
Yeah, he
wasn't full of
seemed like a
shit.
cool guy. They
Yeah.
seemed pretty down to earth, and it seems like he had a pretty good career. You know, especially I mean, most of his career is to me seemed like a solo career. Like it, obviously, the Black Sabbath stuff kind of brought him into the mainstream, but like
You know,
it's not like he was.
his whole career, he was shit. Like he started off doing Beatles stuff. He was doing stuff at the same time as
Hmm.
the Beatles, and so he's doing all this, love you, girl, blah blah blah, and then he started to feel metal because there wasn't metal then, and
Yeah, it
it's like
came about
metal.
pretty quick.
Right. He started with a band called Elf, and then he got discovered by Richie Blackmore and brought into Rainbow.
Mhm.
And then Rainbow
Back
wanted,
when
they were doing,
rainbows were manly
yeah,
in
they were
that
doing
day.
very well. And then Richie Blackmore says, he wanted more radio play, so he wanted to do like more love songs. And he told Richie Blackmore, I don't sing love songs. They had this song called "Since You've Been Gone, Since You've Been Gone," whatever. And they already had another singer. They fired him without even telling him. And then when he said, "Yeah, I'm not singing love songs, you're
Huh.
fired." And then he ended up just meeting Tony Iommi at the Rainbow, which is a club in L.A. And Rainbow, Black Sabbath just fired Ozzy. They didn't know what the fuck they were gonna do.
Yeah, and they pick him
And
up.
Dio had $800 in the bank. He had no idea what he was gonna do.
Then
And,
he fell into their pocket.
yeah,
Like
and
they
it's
couldn't
like
have asked for a better replacement for Ozzy.
no. And then they went, and then that went to shit. And then he did his solo career, and then
Yeah.
his whole career has been him just trying to be himself. And every time he does, somebody knocks it out from under him. You know,
Yeah. But
it,
he seemed to eventually make it. You know what I always think, like back then, were those people just really talented, or was the barrier to entry lower? Because you hear all these stories about like, oh yeah, you just go to like a cafe and Jimi Hendrix would be there playing guitar. You're like, what the fuck? What? You're like, yeah, I just go see like the Rolling Stones or whatever. Which
well, you
I
wouldn't
guess it,
see that of Jimi Hendrix after the Monterey Pop Festival, but you would see that early on. And
yeah, I
sometimes
guess it's the
people
same
just
thing
didn't
as
know the talent that was there.
yeah, he just didn't blow up yet. Because I've
Yeah,
seen bands where I was like, I've seen them or like in a festival, and then they get pretty big, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, I see those guys. So I guess it happens, but a lot of it's just staying power. Because like you said, a lot of people they don't break out and see the majority of their success for years. They're doing stuff, they're in the industry, or they're trying different things. And yeah, a lot of people like you see them and it's like, well, yeah, but they've really been doing this for like 10 years.
yeah, it's
This
true.
is just, this is just what them.
I mean, I saw
voices.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers in 1986 in Santa Cruz,
Yeah,
and we were into them, but they didn't really hit until 1990.
till the
And they
'90s.
had been
Yeah,
doing it since probably 81,
yeah,
you know.
it's a while. So only 7 more years till Shattermare Comics really gets on the map, guys. We'll be the
So,
10-year
I mean,
mark.
you mentioned Jimi Hendrix. He had to go to Europe. He was actually in a lot of bands
Hmm.
here. He played for the Isley Brothers. He played for Little Richard.
Really? Damn,
Yes,
dude, I didn't know that.
yeah, he played for a lot of bands, and they would fire
Isley
him because
Brothers,
he'd be
wow.
behind them, playing guitar with his teeth,
You'll be fine.
and he's
Just walking
upstaging
around.
them. And they're like, "We can't have you upstage me. Fuck you. You're out."
Well, that and he's probably really high all the time. He's probably super fucked up on LSD. And they're
But
like, "Bro, we're trying to play some good R&B
but
jazz music," and he's like,
there's a
"Fuck
guy
you."
named
Where?
Chaz Chandler from a band called the Animals, and he looked at Hendrix and went, "Yeah, I'll take you to Europe where blues. I'll take you to the UK where blues is
Yeah.
much more appreciated than it here is in the States, even though it is an American invention."
Right.
It's
Yeah,
yeah,
but early pioneers of blues music
yeah.
music were all the UK Irish guys.
When Jimmy played, he played with people like Clapton. He played in front of people like Paul
Right.
McCartney and Mick Jagger, and they were like, "This guy's off his ass." And then he came to the States and had the huge thing, but
Yeah, I was playing like Woodstock
he
and stuff.
struggled for a long time trying to gain any type of rep. He changed his name to Jimmy James. He changed his he did everything he could. It just never worked out, for him here until he went to the UK.
Fire broke out in Hollywood Hills.
All right. Well, speaking of changing things up and hoping they work out, you guys want to take a look at an article from a few weeks ago before we went on holiday?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Let me. I mean, we have to talk at least some comic stuff. A little bit of comic stuff we got to talk about. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, this is a little older because it's from December, but Marvel is going to relaunch The Amazing Spider-Man again for
Yeah.
how many Amazing Spider-Mans are they on? Like 4 or 5? I mean, I guess
I mean,
it
they just
depends
finished
if you
up
consider.
Zeb Wells' run, which went into the 50s or 60s. They're on a run right now, which is like on issue 5 or 6.
Yeah, but they're talking about Amazing Spider-Man, but then you have the normal Spider-Man run that's like on issue over 1,000 now.
No, no, no. That is Amazing Spider-Man. They didn't. They discontinued the numbering.
Oh, okay,
So
that
every
makes
time,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, they discontinued the numbering. So I think it went up to issue 800 with Dan Slott, and then they got a new writer. They got another writer, and it started at issue 1. He went like 30 or 40 issues in. Then they got Zeb Wells. He's like 50 or some odd issues in. Now they have another writer right now, currently, and I think he's on issue 6. So maybe they're going to nix him.
Joe Keller.
So every time they get a new writer, they renumber it. So they probably are on issue. It's still Amazing Spider-Man, and they could be on issue. I think 800 happened around 2017. So I don't know if they'd be on 1,000 by now, but
I mean, I early in 2024, I swear I went to a shop and I saw a comic. It must have been like 900. It was high. It was up there. And I think they were like, "Oh, looking forward to the." Like, I think when they were getting there is when they started it over, like you said.
it might
They
have been
just-
800 then, because
It was something like that because I picked it up because I was like, "Oh, okay." And I think it was like a Scotty Young cover
so
too.
what Marvel did is they redid their numbering, and then around 2017 they went back to their old numbering. And
Jesus, dude.
so yeah, and then they reverted. So like I had like an Iron Fist run of 1 through 6, but it was really like 60, 75 through
Mm.
80 something. But then it's ridiculous. They don't know what they're doing. They
Right. Yeah, it's so fucking stupid and convoluted. And then they wonder why, like, oh, why aren't young people reading our books? It's because you don't even know what fucking issue you're on. Like,
it's
how is someone even supposed to start? Like,
yeah,
you need a forum just
yeah.
to start, just to get into
Like when
Marvel comics.
Dan Slott went on to Fantastic Four, they started at issue 1. So there's
Yeah,
people that are saying,
a bunch of Marvel books.
I got
Oh yeah,
Fantastic Four issue 1. Yeah, from 2018. Yeah.
yeah, a bunch of them was starting over at one. So you got like Punisher, a lot of the X, and then you have the Ultimates, and then you have all the stupid event tie-ins, like the Spider Verse books that they have, and all that shit. So it's like, how would you even know? We probably talked about this before, but if you came into comics, and you're just like, okay, cool, I want to read a Spider-Man story, and they're like, oh yeah, come check out new. That's why they have to do this. That's why they have to be like, yeah, we're relaunching with new issue 1. It's like, yeah, but hold on a second, because really, it's like 71, or it's 70 after they already restarted it, and now they're
Yeah,
gonna
it
do
seems
a
like every
one.
time they change a writer,
What the
you know,
fuck?
they renumber it.
Yeah, they. I mean, look, there's a reason why manga is destroying the Western comic industry. Like, when you go into a bookstore and you're like, okay, cool, what's this story that I want to read? Oh, Kyle, name a new manga or a newer manga that's an anime or whatever.
Oh, what
Like
Spy Family? That's one, right?
Spy Family. Yep. Okay, great. If I want to go read Spy Family, I guarantee you I can go to Barnes and Nobles right now or any store that sells manga, and I can be like, okay, great, give me Spy Family Volume 1. And they'll be like, okay, cool, here you go.
They have it. Yep.
And they have it. And when I get it, it's the fucking first part of the story.
Well,
And if
here's the
it's,
thing. Here's why that's more tenable too, because in the manga, people are constantly coming up with new ideas and new stories with new characters and new plots. Because and like the stuff, like I guarantee you, with the exception of like I don't know, like One Piece and like a couple like really long running shonen, like a lot of these
right.
begin and they end. Their runs like aren't actually that long, so you don't have like 900 issues of something.
Yeah, it's not hundreds of issues. It's like probably the equivalent. I'm guessing your average manga spans probably the equivalent of like several trade paperbacks of Western comics, because they're a little shorter sometimes. I mean, they also have just smaller page counts. Not page counts. I'm sorry. Like the dimensions are smaller. We're getting into this now that we're coming out with Lich in the Kitchen. Like we just started working on Lich in the Kitchen officially, the official manga. Um, but yeah, it's a little shorter. So if you carry that across from like what you can fit on a page, I'm guessing like if you take something like Saga that's got I don't know, what are they on, like 50, 60 something? That's probably where a manga would be done. Like it's probably wrapping up.
Like it's crazy. Like there's anime that only run like 12 episodes, maybe like to 24, maybe 24 episodes, and
Yeah.
are widely like hugely successful and really popular, and then that's it. They never really do anything else with the IP. Like, could you imagine that happening with like a Western like series? Like, if you made a 24 episode series of something that was popular, they would just go to that. I mean, you see how many we have a sequels problem in like Hollywood. Like,
Yeah. They just
they
try to
won't
milk
stop.
it
They'll
endlessly.
milk it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't. They don't do that over there.
No, but then the good thing is that there's so many good writers, and eventually people get used to that. So like people are used to that. So they're like, okay, great, that was a good story. Next, and you go move on. And then maybe if they come out with a sequel, like Dragon Ball's continued to be going because the fan base loves it, but it's not like they're doing some weird continuity. I mean, Dragon Ball might be a bad example because there
There's no
was some weird
reset,
shit between America and Japan. But like One Piece, people like it. They keep it going, so they have different arcs. Like Berserk, that's one of the most popular manga / animes ever. So but like that doesn't go on forever and ever, and then all these fucking spin-offs. And oh, you like Guts? Well, you're really gonna love this random spin-off of the fucking side character that follows him around. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like not even in the golden age when it was like the man, I'm forgetting all the characters' names. The Band of the Hawk. Like imagine just being like, oh yeah, we're gonna follow one of those like minor like sixth member that was in the background of this comic. You're like, what the fuck? I mean, that's essentially what it is, right? They try to introduce the character, but then they're not even telling stories. It's like, okay, well,
diluted Spider-Man to a point where
it's super diluted. But you don't even think about Spider-Man and the stupid Spider-Verse and all the bullshit spider people. Like, just think about all of the characters that Marvel shits out. Like, think about all the different books that are on their shelves. Like, all the different X-Men characters and the fucking Fantastic Four you mentioned. You've got, like, the street-level character, Daredevil, Punisher. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, it's exhausting. At some point it's exhausting. And, like...
But the thing about Spider-Man is that, and really a lot of characters, but what I liked about Spider-Man is that there was nobody else like him, who could stick to walls and
that was them, though.
And they trashed it. Like there's a million people that can do the things he does. Like what am I doing here? I'm just might as well have a jersey on with a number on it, Parker on the back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and before you guys think like, oh man, they had that long intro segment and Brian was talking about Jews. Marvel, Jew. Okay.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there.
Well, DC as well.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
I don't know. Is this something I should look forward to? I don't know. I heard the current run going right now isn't bad. But
well, I'm gonna finish up the Ultimate Spider-Man run. I mean, at some point, but that's my goal.
Oh, have you guys seen the trailer for the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Let me bring it up. Okay, it is.
And we got to talk about the Spider-Man trailer too. Don't let me forget. Since we're talking about trailer.
The worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Neighborhood Spider-Man. It is. Yeah, it's the worst trailer I've ever seen with the worst music. Put it this way. Spider-Man.
Hold on, you're just playing in the background.
Okay. I just had to copy and paste it.
Stop playing it.
Private chat. This is the worst thing. So basically, Peter Parker's the only white guy in town.
Okay, hold on.
Kidding.
Okay, hold on. I'm playing it.
Yeah, this is the worst trailer I've ever seen.
Okay, can you guys see this? Okay.
Yeah. From the makers of X-Men '97, basically Disney.
Peter!
Oh no, I'm buffering.
You're gonna be late.
I'm okay.
Hey, Petey's always been a bit clumsy.
You know me, clumsy Petey Parker.
Help!
Mr. Campbell, I remembered I left something in the bathroom. Deuces. Parker out.
So wait, Ben Riley?
Yeah, Harry Osborn's
Run and
black.
grab him.
Everybody's black.
Me, check out.
Huh?
Yeah, Harry Osborn's black. So is Norman.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, they're all black. Everybody's black. Everybody's black or something else. Peter's the only white guy in the whole fucking. And Aunt May. That's it. And Aunt
Our
May's
next
even
victim in his
hotter.
dumbass costume. Is my suit really that bad? Ouch.
Curse you, Columbia.
Fucking Colombian internet.
Oh! Watch out for that ladder. Just consider it a good deed from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's me. By the way, I'm Spider-Man.
There we go, there we go, there we go again. Swinging through
The obligatory rap song, yeah. That's what I want.
the city so fast you could barely notice him.
I truly believe
It's
that
custom.
I have these powers
And Flash Thompson's black
to help
too.
people,
That's
to protect them.
Need my city, you need me. Taking off the mask, I know what you see. Know you want a neighbor like me, Just a young man cleaning up the streets. Ain't nothing changed, no, this is the real me.
So, you're Spider-Man.
Wow.
With my help, you'll achieve greatness.
Oh man, this suit's incredible. If you ever need another butt kicking, just look for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Know you want a neighbor like
N-word.
No, you may not be excused from said test. Ah, nice of you to join us, Mr. Parker. See me after class.
Yeah, it's really what's the word I'm looking for? It's like
dog shit.
well, I'm just the first thing I want to talk about is the animation style. It's really
bad.
jarring. It's like
As somebody who wears glasses, what guy is going to wear glasses like that?
well, like I mean, like they're going for like the classic pop comic art look of like what is it? You see them
Kyle's awful silent.
Yeah, what I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's guaranteed to be terrible, but it does seem like they're kind of. I mean, with the hip hop song and everything, it does kind of seem like
Miles Morales.
they're trying to make Spider-Man into like being a black icon superhero thing. I don't know exactly how to put it, but
like Miles Morales.
well, yeah, but I mean, like Miles Morales being as successful as he is, and then like they're parlaying that into like going down that avenue.
Yeah, from Into the Spider-Verse. But
Mhm.
look at the incredible animation. Like, why didn't they hire that animation studio to continue
But
doing
look
this
at the other.
Spider-Man?
They didn't want to spend as much money on this.
Yeah, because this looks fucking awful. I
Peter
mean, set
Parker's
aside
the
the stupid
fucking
black,
white guy.
huh?
Peter Parker's the only fucking white guy in the whole town.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, sure,
so-
yeah.
And his gloves show that he has white skin. So, like, how?
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be? Honestly, that shit doesn't even faze me anymore. I just don't even. I just don't even pay attention to it. It's. I expect it from Disney, so I don't think about it. I'm not like, oh look, Harry Osborn's black. Oh look, random everybody is in San Francisco or New York. I mean, to be fair, they're in New York, so like, that is what New York looks like. It is very diverse,
No, of course.
but
Don't you
they-
think the characters should be the characters? Like,
you're talking about Disney. Like, obviously, they're not gonna be the characters. Like, what world do you live in, William? It's
No.
2025, bro.
so just look at just look at it. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I'm focusing on the production aspect of it, like the stuff that that I can judge that like, okay, hold on. Let me take a step back.
Yeah.
Let me take a step back. All of the stuff you're saying is true, and yes, it makes it shitty. But to me, that's the baseline of, okay, it's going to be shitty because they're going to fuck all this shit up. So I'm trying to think of, in my head, I'm trying to be more positive.
Like when
Kinda
Peter Parker leaves the room, it's like peace out and shit like that. Like,
yeah,
what
that's
the fuck
stupid.
is that?
I mean, this is just a really low effort. It's for kids. Let's be honest. Like, this is just for kids. This is like
I had Spider-Man, and so did you. That was for kids, and it was 10 times better. Than, like in the 90s, the Spider-Man animated series was a million times better than this.
You know what's funny? You can still watch that on Disney Plus. I mean, they have that on Disney Plus. The Spider-Man show that was on when I was growing up. That was on Cartoon Network.
His Amazing Friends, which was
Yeah, that one
bullshit
too.
too. I mean, he didn't hang out with Iceman and Firestar.
Yeah, but it was fun.
It was fun.
It was a fun show.
The art was true to what the comics was.
Yeah.
And
Oh, Archie Bunker. Sorry, this is trying to be like. Is that what I'm trying to think of? You know, when you go to Walmart.
All in the Family?
Dude, I am Archie Bunker. Okay.
No, that's not what it.
Dude, I'm the living embodiment of Archie.
No, Archie Comics. Sorry.
Okay.
Archie Comics. That's the art style they're going for. Which you're right, William. That's not Marvel Comics. That's not what they look like.
That's not Spider-Man comics.
They look like fucking shit. Like it's uncanny valley weird.
It doesn't fit. It looks bad. The glasses
bad.
that he's wearing, he always wore like Clark Kent glasses. You know, like
yeah. This is like a step above a Rippaverse animation studio.
a half step.
Like whoever Eric July, whoever he used to put together some of those really awfully animated, like cheap, like he just hired some Brazilians to do an animation or something. This is basically that, yeah.
Yeah, and the music is also just as bad. Why are you?
Yeah, and like I agree with Kyle. They're trying to kind of blend it in with like the Miles Morales Spider-Man stuff. But you know what? Those are actually pretty good. Like, and the animation was really good. Really good. You want to see something where people actually put effort into a Marvel license, which is really weird to say.
X-Men 97. I mean, they're billing this as from the people who did X-Men 97, which is false, because that guy got fired.
I mean, this just came out.
Stickermule's production process makes it easy to get your custom products fast. You simply select a size and quantity.
All right. Oh. I understand. Okay, William, have you heard of Marvel Rivals? Like this game just came out.
Yeah,
like this isn't an old game. This game came out like December. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Marvel Rivals, Kyle?
Is it like Overwatch? That's the Overwatch
It is
one?
just like Overwatch, but more fun.
You played it?
I have not played it, but this is the animation style.
You have been sheltered by the light.
And it has a story.
For far too long.
Well, yeah, I mean Overwatch has a story too.
Yeah, but Marvel has the benefit of having like decades of characters.
Yeah, you've definitely got a lot more to pull on there.
So, and it's all there. You don't have to invent some bullshit.
The time has come for darkness to reign. Soon, your resolve will begin to crumble.
That's the thing right there.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that animation.
You'll be stretched too thin. There will be nowhere left to hide. And your fire.
Oh, well.
And here's one
of your problems right here. Here's one of your problems right here. We found it. Enhance. Oh. Stupid buffering. Oh. I don't know.
See, look at Sue Storm. She looks like
a Invisible Woman.
Complaining about that.
Mm-hmm. Of course. But I guarantee you this will get a lot more views. This already has what, almost 2.7 million views. We're gonna go back and look at the trailer for that other shit after this and see what their views are.
Cease to burn, for no light shall survive in my empire of eternal night.
Look how cool that was.
Yeah.
You have Dracula and Fantastic Four.
And that's for a video game, for crying.
That's for a fucking video game, and that's just for their season 1. That's the latest trailer.
Yeah.
That's not even the full cinematic trailer. So they're just coming out with that.
Their Steam numbers are really good.
Yeah. I guarantee you a lot more.
Well, they're going to put
kids
more
are playing
effort into
Marvel
this game because this game's going to make more money than that TV show will. Because they're, I mean, this is just me guessing, but I'm guessing they're going to be doing loot boxes and all that stuff. So they're going to make a ton of money with this game.
Yeah, I mean, from what I hear, though, it's not like it's actually hard to find the cash shop in that game. They seem to be doing pretty.
It's not pay to win at this point.
Well, all the stuff you get from that, like, it doesn't affect gameplay. It's just like cosmetic shit, but that doesn't stop people from buying it.
I think there's certain skins, like the Punisher. His skin is the new costume, but I think you can get the old one. With Spider-Man, it's the Ben Reilly costume.
Oh, you get multiple of every character. All right, I stand corrected. This has 4 million views. So, but again, you know,
dislikes.
You can't see because it's YouTube, and I don't have a plugin installed.
I do. I'll bring it up.
Okay. So you'll have to see which one's of which. But yeah, it just goes to show you like the effort that people are putting in, more effort than actual Marvel. I mean, yeah, you could say that, Kyle. Like, okay, fine. Well,
160 likes, 160K likes to 35K dislikes. Comments are turned off.
Right. Naturally.
Wise.
Yeah.
Right, but then what about the
been deleting dislikes like crazy?
What about the Marvel Rivals?
I'll look it up.
You could do their season 1 like we just watched, or their cinematic trailer. I don't know. But the point I'm making is that, you know, yes, you could just make a bullshit, shitty looking piece of shit, not have the original characters, but okay, well, great. But they're spending some amount of money on that. So you have to look at the overall return. Like, why put something out at all if you're not going to make money off of it? And, you know, all things being equal, like they actually do care about making money. But, I mean, you put that much effort in. You're hiring studios to do this. You're hiring voice actors and people to write scripts.
The season 1 Eternal Night Falls trailer, 100K likes to 363 dislikes.
Okay, so it's a bigger ratio.
300.
Yeah, it's a bigger ratio of dislikes on this trailer.
And the comments are on. So,
I mean, I guarantee you, putting together a short little several episode animated show for Spider-Man costs way less than the developers of that Marvel Rivals video game are sinking into, like, voice acting, animation.
You fucking ain't right.
Yeah. Well, if you set that aside, but even just the animations of the characters, I mean, the trailers they're putting together, right? Like the cinematic for those. If you try to kind of compare apples to apples, I guarantee you the production.
So I'll give you another criticism of the trailer without my Archie Bunker bullshit. Okay. Okay.
I meant Archie Comics.
Are we sick and tired of Spider Boy at this point? High school Spider-Man. I don't know.
Yeah, awkward white guy. Yeah, objectively, yes, because
grad school Spider-Man.
Yeah, objectively, yes, because if you look at the only Spider-Man book that's it's selling like hotcakes, is the Ultimate Spider Run, where
When he's in
he's
his 30s.
in his their late 30s. He has a family. Yes.
We've seen this story. Raimi's done it. Everybody, Sony did it. We've seen the high school Spider-Man. We don't need, just like we don't need another Superman origin story. Maybe that's a trailer we can talk about as well. That's comic book related.
Sure. If you want to look at the Superman trailer now, we can look at that.
We can definitely look at
Have
that.
you seen that, Kyle?
Nope.
All right.
All right.
Fuck it. Bring it up. But I'm sick and tired of Spider-Man.
Oh, they have a new one.
Oh, is there a new one? All right.
Yeah.
A new one.
Tienes una idea de negocio. Ahora necesitas darle una dirección web. En GoDaddy tenemos.
I'm sure
I
you've heard
don't
of this
I
so-called
don't have a VPN on, so it is what it is.
Superman wants to save the world, fix everyone's problems. Doesn't make a difference on this one, though, boys, because we're finishing him off.
Superheroes. These few years, they've become more and more present. And the same applies to threats. They need to be put in check. Starting with the Superman.
This world chose you for a reason, son. Be the hero they need you to be.
Superman. This world won't be kind to you.
Home. Baby, home.
But it will need you for what's coming. A new age is closing in.
That's my first time seeing that one.
Oh.
I think I liked the one previously.
Yeah.
First.
This one?
Yeah. Even though it still has Can Thrower, and I think I tweeted out that's his villain name, Can Man.
You know who they should recast? They should recast. Who's the guy who's Jason Momoa from Aquaman? They should recast him as the multiversal bounty hunter.
Well, they've already recast him as Lobo.
Oh, they are as Lobo? Okay.
He is Lobo.
Oh, okay. Perfect. There you go.
Yeah. So that kind of intrigued me. Like, what could make Superman, you know?
I think that was like a fuck you to Zack Snyder. Because the memes like in Batman v Superman where he's like, "Do you bleed?" So the opening scene of that's like, yes.
God, that hair is terrible. And she's attractive. She's an attractive Lois Lane.
Oh no. I can't leave the window. Tab.
Like kind of a throwback.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
Oh my god, Superman saving people? Whoa.
Yeah. Luthor actually looking like a villain.
Yeah. Somewhat.
Yeah, I thought Eisenberg looked weird as a Lex Luthor to me.
Yeah, he was super goofy. Oh, that's
There's
the
your
cam
Green
guy.
Lantern.
Yeah, I think they're going for like a very retro, kind of like a modern retro, where this is supposed to be almost.
That's a different Green Lantern. I'm not
Is
familiar
it?
with him. Yeah,
Okay.
he's part of the Green Lantern Corps. I can't remember his exact name.
Okay. Because I just figure with that hairstyle and stuff, they're
He
like,
fucked up his haircut. It should be.
well, if they're going for like a modern retro look back at like the 60s or 70s, I guess it's okay. I don't.
But they have him, Mr. Terrific. They have Hawk Girl, right there.
Yeah. Yeah, they have Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, I like. Oh my god! At least the cool, like orchestral mixed with an opening guitar, electric guitar fanfare of the original John Williams stuff. These original scores for these movies is so much better than that gay like slow piano.
Yeah.
That trend, like thank
tink,
God.
Where you have some scratchy female
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Once you hear it, you'll never. Okay, let's finish watching this.
Throwback to the original theme.
All right, let's finish watching this first, so we can talk about that.
Sexy hug.
Yeah, I actually want to go see this movie. Like, it might not be.
Doesn't that trailer kind of intrigue you a little bit?
Do you guys have thoughts on the actor they have playing Superman?
I don't know much about him.
I don't know him, but that's probably good because then I don't have any preconceived notions of, oh, great, I'm just watching this guy for 2 hours.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with any. Here's another talking point from the talking heads. Obviously, Christopher Reeve is the icon, but has anybody ever had a problem with any casting of Superman? Really?
Yeah, I haven't really. I don't think.
I haven't. I used to watch reruns of George Reeves with his load pants because he looked like he took his shit in his pants every time he turned around. And then you had Christopher Reeve, and then you had Dean Cain.
Oh yeah.
Brian Ralph in that one movie that wasn't that good, but he wasn't bad in it.
Yeah, it is okay.
Smallville ran for 9 years.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the CW show on now, like Superman and Lois or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think this picks up probably somewhere into his career.
It seems like Superman and Batman at that point they're kind of one-note characters, really. I mean, you would have to try to fuck them up.
Yeah.
I mean, Superman's a Boy Scout. Play a Boy Scout. Batman.
Yeah, I think he's fine. He might be a little younger, but James Gunn is starting his own cinematic universe, so he probably wants people that like he could have them in movies for the next 5 to 10 years, and it's not going to look weird.
He said that. That's why he didn't.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
he looks a little weird to me for Superman. I don't know why, but I don't know. There's something off about him, though he looks.
I think he looks weirder. I think he looks weirder in the Superman costume than Clark Kent.
The only person in this movie who I've seen is the character of Lex Luthor, who was in Nosferatu, and I think he was also Beast in the X-Men First Class movies. And that guy always delivers. That guy he's nails.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is why you think he looks a little weird, but I think it's just because he looks a little young, and he also is like a Hollywood actor boy, so he's kind of soft looking.
He has model looks.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He has like a little bit of like face fat and stuff. He's not like ripped. He's not like jacked like a comic book Superman, but
Yeah, I mean, I think if Superman is having like ridiculously like square jaw, chiseled,
yeah, like Henry
kinda-
Cavill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not just him. There's other super, and I was just looking at like kind of collage of different people who've played Superman on TV, and there's one or two other ones that look weird, but for the most part, they all kind of in my mind are like.
Well, do you know that?
hit.
Yeah, he looks like what Jim from The Office.
Do you know when Christopher Reeve trained for Superman? Do you know who trained him?
Mm-mm.
The actor who played the guy who was actually in the costume, Darth Vader.
Oh, that's funny.
He was because the guy Powell was a bodybuilder, and so
Yeah,
that's why
I
Darth
mean,
Vader looked the way he did, and he trained. So Darth Vader trained Superman.
nice. I mean, I think they make his adopted father.
I like that he's bald.
Yeah, William. Is this you?
No, I should.
You didn't tell us you were in the new Superman movie, dude.
Fuck you.
Holy shit, dude! How much you getting paid for that?
Not
Like,
enough.
cameo.
Not enough.
Yeah, the Green Lantern guy obviously looks probably the goofiest, right? Like this
Yeah, it
weird.
seems like they're trying to insert.
What is this? But I
yeah.
guess if he's an
Is he?
alien,
Is he a
maybe-
I mean,
He's part of Green Lantern Corps. I can't remember his name. It was thrown around a lot. Luke would know it. in
is
a
he
heart-
supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy in this?
Yeah,
You know?
he's a hero. He's Green Lantern. He's just not.
Well, that haircut, he does not look like a hero.
No,
He
the
definitely
guy-
looks like a villain to me.
The picture of the guy from the comics, he doesn't have any hair on the sides. It's just all on the top
Oh,
of his head.
well, there you go. So they give him. I mean, Green Lantern is a good character generally. So unless this guy
Yeah.
stole a ring from somebody,
Wield the power unless you are.
yeah. So he just looks weird, which is why I think they're going for like kind of a retro. I don't know. It like some of the color scheme and part of this movie, it's supposed to look like even the Superman suit that he has. This is, it looks more like the older Superman suits that you would see. I mean, kind of a blend.
Yeah, his name is Guy Gardner.
That's Guy Gardner?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not what Guy Gardner looks like in the comics.
No.
So, whatever. That's funny. I mean, maybe it's the costumes.
The haircut, the outfit. I mean,
Yeah, they should just give him there.
I'm down.
I mean, maybe they're not using a whole lot of CGI, so the costumes look kind of like cosplay costumes.
They look bad.
Yeah,
Even hot girls look
like look at that. That looks like someone showing up to MegaCon.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So that kind of makes it look a little goofier, but if it's entertaining, I don't care. Like it looks like it's gonna be an entertaining movie and it'll be fun.
And bleed and cause a crater like that. Like what put him down like that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The only thing I'd be worried about if I'm going to be super critical of this movie.
That's a Lex Luthor I can get on board with.
Yeah. I think if I'm going to be super critical of this movie, it might be bad for the reason that some of James Gunn movies, like he likes to throw a lot of.
It's not
he likes,
testing well right now.
well, okay, whatever. I don't care about that.
But
Damn it, William! You ruined my train of thought. James Gunn likes to use a lot of characters. Like he likes to try to juggle a bunch of characters in his movies,
He does
like
a
with
good
Guardians.
job, though.
Yeah, generally, but like Suicide Squad wasn't that great.
I liked his
I mean,
Suicide Squad movie.
it was entertaining, but
Suicide Squad? Yeah.
I didn't hate it. But I thought it was okay. It was better than the other one. But again, he could have just had a little less characters in there, and like he
I think
focused a
that's
lot on
what
Harley
this
Quinn.
movie will be. It'll be an okay 7 out of 10 type of thing.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm okay with that. But that's all. That's all I'm saying is like if I'm going to be super critical of it, that's probably it. It's probably just going to be like, oh shit, well we don't get a lot of Superman screen time because we're focusing on all of these other Justice League characters.
Yeah.
Like JLA, like random, and then like probably 3 different villains. It's like how you gonna do all that? I don't know.
We'll find out.
Well, it'll be cool to see them in the movies, but
I think this trailer. I had no interest for this movie, but this initial trailer, actually, I give it a B- as a letter grade. A B-. It intrigued me. I'm like, okay, I might want to see this.
yeah, it seems interesting enough. So Kyle, so you heard the guitar in the beginning of this, right? Like
Yes.
The okay, I'm gonna find a movie, and I think this will. I think did they do it in Jurassic World? William?
Oh, you mean one of the Jurassic? Oh, there's a new one coming out this year, by the way. Another Jurassic movie, but I'm not
Hold
sure
on.
which one. I only saw the first one, and I didn't care for it. I forgot it. I didn't hate it. I just. You see, Kyle, I just don't hate everything.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun. No, but Kyle, what did you think of that Superman? You're a comic fan and Superman fan. Was that
the one thing the thing that stood out the most to me is I just felt like he looks kind of weird as a Superman, to be honest.
okay?
But I'm also not like a big Superman guy, also. So
Okay.
but maybe I just haven't seen the right Superman thing.
Well, you saw like the Christopher Reeve and back in the day, right? Or
I mean, the most recent Superman thing I've seen was Batman versus Superman, and that was bad.
yeah. Yeah, Henry Cavill was a good Superman, but he had the worst scripts.
Yeah, but I don't even talking about acting. I was just talking about look. You know, like some people, like I didn't like, for example, there was the Garfield Spider-Man, right? Andrew Garfield played Spider-Man in some of the Amazing Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man, yeah.
Yes, I
Like
thought
the
he looked
Amazing
weird. I thought he
comic.
looked weird as Spider-Man.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel seeing this guy.
And I like
Corn Sweat. His name is. It's like there are certain people that just don't look right.
You're right.
As
You're
like
right.
the character.
Yeah, it's like Andrew Garfield is somebody who I love a lot of his work, you know, and I think he's a fantastic actor. He was not right for Peter Parker. Just I really think Tobey Maguire really captured that look and feel of it, and you know, again with Superman, Henry Cavill captured the look and that raw, whatever, square jaw, masculinity, whatever, and still intelligent. He wasn't a meathead because Kryptonians. I think Superman's IQ has been clocked at 200. So because their IQs go higher than humans, so he's even higher than Batman when it comes to actual smarts in the comics.
Well, Superman's just better at everything than everyone.
He's got yeah. Which is why I never got into him. I always liked Spider-Man
Right.
because if you shot Spider-Man, he could die. If you shoot Superman, nothing happened really. He doesn't give a
They
shit.
had to invent something to be his weakness because they're like, well, fuck, he needs to be weak to something.
It's like I need to kick Superman's ass. I tell you what, I'm gonna go find kryptonite in my spaceship, and then maybe I have a fighting chance.
Man.
You were gonna bring something up, Brian?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good example. Do you know a
Of the
movie
music
off the top?
thing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't really help you with.
What movie?
Just name one that has it. Trying to find a compilation of them.
Of Superman?
No, the stupid piano trend that I think finally died.
Oh, God. No shit. They always take something like, they'll take like a pop song. They'll take like, I want a new drug. Tink, tink, tink in the minor key.
Yup, it's always a minor cover.
Yeah, it's minor
key
cover of
piano.
like fucking Huey Lewis or something. I don't know if I can find anything. I don't even know how to describe it, but we all know what we're talking about.
Kyle doesn't.
Yeah, I don't. That's why he's trying to find it because I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
It's some chick who just smoked a pack of Marlboros, but she has a breathy voice. I think Marilyn Manson should sue every one of them because he kind of started that shit.
Okay, here it goes. I found it. I found the trailer. It was some guy that trailer trope, slow piano music.
Okay.
All right. This is the Jurassic World one.
A whole new frontier has opened up.
You just went and made a new dinosaur? Probably not a good idea.
Oh, God.
Hear that flatted third?
Yes, William, we heard the flat third. I'm just being an asshole.
We have dedicated
See?
our whole lives to studying the paranormal. Now there's sightings all over the city.
And it tends to be in really bad, forgettable
There are
versions
people
of
out
the
there
movie.
that need
That's why
our
you never
help.
think about it. Like Ghostbusters 2016 or 18, whatever it was.
State your name for the record.
Jin Urso. Reckless, aggressive, and undisciplined. This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.
It's supposed to be leading up to and dramatic, but then you're like, oh, this doesn't actually fit that well with the trailer. Like all
I
this
mean, I don't have a
crazy
problem with slow piano music in a general sense. I didn't realize this was a trend that was happening.
Oh yeah, this has been happening since like 2015 or whatever. Whenever this came out.
It's got to be for the right movie. That it would make sense setting the tone for certain movies, but you can't.
What?
Slow piano music.
Oh.
Well, I was just saying that like if it could work for the right movie, but you can't just throw that on any movie.
Well,
Like
that's what they're doing, and then
Well,
they're
that's the problem.
pop
It was
songs.
like
They're taking pop songs from back in the day and just slowing them down. So they're adjusting the tempo and then putting this piano music to it. So it's like, video killed the radio star. And it's like this minor key bullshit in the back, and I'm just sitting going, fuck, dude, it's the Buggles, man. They were like, what the fuck are you doing? But they try to find some obscure pop song that they can do this to. And then,
yeah. So that's been in movie trailers for like a decade now. So I'd much prefer going to the slow electric guitar instead of the slow piano.
Well, that actually was like a Top Gun thing. You know, the original Top Gun had that
Sure.
and
Like a lot of 80s movies.
the guy who did that was the guitar player for Billy Idol, and he did that.
Yeah, but they're still scores. They're still arrangements. This is like, let's just take a pop song or the iconic soundtrack from the movie franchise,
Yeah.
and just slow it down to a boring slow piano crawl.
Yeah.
So
But
that's fine.
actually,
If you're
I actually
gonna like,
enjoy. But what I actually enjoy with Superman that they did it with the theme from the Christopher Reeve.
yeah, John Williams. That's what it.
It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
but
that
electric
really
guitar leads better. Yeah, it sounds better, and electric guitar leads better into like a big orchestral boom of music and sound in the trailer. It's really jarring when you go from like dum dum da da, and then like all this shit happening in the background. I don't know.
I think for a horror movie it works, but for adventure,
You see it a lot with horror movies, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Marilyn Manson kind of started that with his Sweet Dreams because in the 90s and 2000s, every horror movie ended with Marilyn Manson's "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This." It's just like, fuck, dude. I don't even own this song, and I know it by heart. You know.
Yeah. I think Kyle had to hop off his past his time. Goodbye, Kyle.
Goodbye, Kyle.
Yeah. What else do we want to talk about? I can talk more about Shattermare comic stuff. We got a lot of stuff planned coming up very soon. It's going to be super cool. I don't know how much we can talk about it though, because it's going to be in emails and crowdfunding campaign. But it's coming to your favorite crowdfunding campaign. Should we just say we're shooting for end of January here?
Sure. Yeah.
So we're looking to launch Heartly Heroes issue 10 and Mercenary Guild issue 1. And I think we're going to do it. I'm going to say crowdfunding campaigns will go live probably the 30th or the 31st. Oh, my birthday's on the 30th, so maybe then. But definitely the 31st, unless we end up scheduling a podcast or a show that we'll go on to be guested that week. Then it'll be.
And not only that, for the folks out there who are listening, so the inks are done for issue 1, and the colors are being worked on, and the lettering will be done.
Yeah, the lettering is the last
so
thing.
it's just basically, in printing takes about 2 weeks.
Right, and I don't think we'll end up showing any lettered pages. Maybe a couple, maybe the prologue, but we'll kind of trickle them out. That's kind of what I like to do, because that way people can just see all the art and get excited about the art, and the art is sweet. So you're gonna get to see that, but yeah, I mean they'll see the letters when they read the book, right? So
of course
they don't want to spoil too much of the story.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as if you back it, you're not going to have to wait 6 months or a year and 6 months. You'll probably get it by February or March at the latest.
Probably at the latest. I mean, to be frank,
printers can take some time. So,
well, the nice thing is since it'll be the issue 1 of 3, it'll be the floppy. And we'll actually be pretty much as soon as we're done with, once we get the letters in, we do any kind of final editing and approval. That sucker is going to be, I'm going to put that together, and that's pretty much going straight to the printer. So what might push it back, I mean, this happened like when we were doing the volume in fulfillment. Well, the printer definitely pushed that one back because we had to get the book printed. But The only other thing is kind of a peek behind the curtain of like crowdfunding campaigns and the indie comic scene. So if you're using or you're working with a vendor that you've never worked before, there's always shit that goes wrong. Always. Like, and there's a couple of cool things that either we've seen from other campaigns or we thought like, you know, I don't think anyone's really done this before, so why don't we do this? That stuff is gonna take, like it'll take a little bit of research to find the supplier, and yeah, who knows? They might have a lead time, right? They might have like a minimum order quantity. Nothing too crazy, but like for example, I think what we're gonna try to do is some cool Mercenary Guild guitar picks. That's probably the easiest one that comes to mind. Just as a spoiler for people, but like, but like we got to go find someone who makes guitar picks, which isn't going to be that hard, but it's the first time, it's the first time I've done it. So, so I got to go find someone. If anyone out there listening, add us or in the chat if you know somebody who makes sweet custom guitar picks. But like that's something we want to do. And just finding that and then ordering a bunch of them, and because something I want to try, like I try to do. Obviously, this is just me or us. You want to save on shipping. It's like I don't want to ship multiple shipments to people, so it kind of sucks where it's like, okay, your book's here. Like, say you got like a print or whatever, a poster. Okay, all that's in the box, and I'm sitting there staring at the boxes, but then I'm waiting on like stickers or bookmarks or whatever. It's like, fuck, your whole order is ready. Your whole order is ready, but now I gotta get coffee for you. It's something obscure. It's like, so that's really what drives the fulfillment. But yeah, all things being equal, like if you basically just order the book, if you order anything in book form, yeah, you're gonna get your book probably a month after the campaign. So say the campaign's like 30, 60 days, you're pretty much getting your book. Because like William said, the book's basically done. So this is really a fun pre-order thing. We're not working on your book for a year. We're not taking your money and then working on your book for a year.
No, the money's already been spent, so I fronted the cost.
Yep.
So that's the thing, is that you're not paying me and then worrying about will it ever happen.
That's what we've been doing for the last year. is putting in a bunch of work and effort. And
it's happened. So it's going. You will get a book if you back it.
Right. Yeah. There's no
whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you're getting the book. Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame because, a lot of times people, like I can think of a recent example off of my head that we've been talking about, and I'm sure people will know when I talk about it. But like, it was a campaign, and the thing is, if you're on the side of things where you're an artist or someone trying to do this for a living, you're not. Most people aren't malevolent. Like you're not malicious. We're not planning to not release a book, but so they have good intentions. But then there's a situation where it's like, okay, well, they plan to do a full color book, right? And they couldn't. They didn't hit their goal. Okay, but what about all the other money you've taken from people that have basically pre-ordered your book? Well, it's not even a pre-order because it's not necessarily going to ship. And now you can't offer them what you originally offered. Like you'd lose all the goodwill you have with all the fans. No matter how good your work is, it's like, well, fuck. What am I even doing here if I'm not getting something? Like, what am I paying for? I'm paying you for a product.
A piece of advice to anybody.
I'm not an investor.
Get into this as somebody who just did is have the money up front.
Yeah.
If
or
you
if you're
don't,
right,
if
go
you
ahead.
don't, then you could end up in the grifter zone. I hate that word, but you could end up in
Well,
that.
but that's what it is.
So
People think
have your
they're being.
Say, whatever happens, happens. If I lose money on this, I lose. If I win, I win. I don't care. But I have the money and I'm going to pay it and then, let the chips fall where they may. Then get into this racket. If you don't have that mentality or the bankroll, don't.
Right. Well, and a lot of guys who do this are artists, right? So like for them, they're not putting a lot of money, as much money into it as we are. They're putting more time into it, right? Like they've learned the skills. So now it's just sitting down. It's getting off your ass and putting in the
Although
fucking work to do the
I
art.
think a lot of these so-called these artists, and a lot of them are very good, they do need a writer or an editor or somebody
I
because
agree.
I've backed a lot of comics
They need both.
in indie comics, and I look at the writing, I look at the art, and it's fantastic, great. Okay, that's one half of the equation. Let me see the character development, the writing, the plot, and wow.
Yeah,
It-
they need like a writing partner / editor to help them, even if it's just a ghostwriter. But like that's not expensive.
No, it isn't.
It's a lot more for people like us to pay artists than it is for an artist to pay a writer. I mean, it is what it is, right?
It's
Like,
supply and demand, and artists are definitely in demand more than
yeah. Well, and just think about it. Like, it's a really like being a good writer is definitely a rare skill, but writing in and of itself is very little time intensive compared to drawing.
yeah.
If you're actually solid comic book artist, you have to you have to develop the skill, and then once you have the skill, then you have to spend all the time drawing the fucking book, and that's assuming you're not also going to pay a colorist. So if you're gonna, so that like multiple different skills, whereas writing, like once you learn how to structure a story and write, you're just typing, right? Like that's very low. Again, I'm trying to avoid saying skill intensive because again, it's a skill, but
I won't
there's
take
a
offense. I mean, yeah,
it's a very low ceiling.
artistry is definitely more labor intensive than
Yeah, there's a lot less overhead.
than writing.
Yeah,
But nonetheless, you still need to at least have some sort of flow.
correct.
And I've come to
Still
find a lot of these comics gate and indie comics and whatnot is that I
Yeah,
have
and we like the guys. We support them.
shit about and a plot, and then it ends on something where there really is no real ending, and I have to wait 3 fucking years for the next thing. And at that point in time, I'm just done. Like, I just don't care. I never cared from the beginning.
Yeah, that's why we want to be the James Gunn of indie comics. We want to be a straight 7 out of 10.
For a little higher than that, but
We want a C plus.
it's my first time, so we'll see how it goes. And again, it's a very straightforward thing. But the first issue ends on a note that is okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
There's going to
It's
be
entertaining.
more, so it's not a cliffhanger or anything like that. So
Right.
it'll just be
Yeah,
a nice little adventure comic to introduce you to my characters, and then if you want to go further, there's definitely going to be a quest line after that, and there you go.
Yeah, and some people will get issue 1. A lot of people will get issue 1, probably most people. And then some people will just say, okay, well, great. Let me know when you got 2 and 3. Some people might just say, okay, well, once you get the full trade or volume, whatever we're calling it, then hit me up. I'll pick up the book and read the book. So it just depends on your preference. How much really of a comic guy are you, or more of just a reader? Like if you're used to graphic novels or manga or whatever. But yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the goal. And there's this weird like, and I hate to blame and like put the like point fingers at Eric July and Ethan Van Sciver, but like there's this weird line people have drawn in the sand where they're like, oh look, our book ships are on time, you get the book, no problems, but then they put basically no effort into crafting the story of the book, and then you have the complete opposite polar end of the people where they're like, okay, look, you say you ship out on time, but your book sucks. I take 3 years, but my book has a lot of like my
Yeah.
book is very high quality. You guys are missing something in the middle, which is put the work in, right? If you truly believe in this thing that you're creating, put the fucking work in, create a good product, and then sell it. Right? Like once all the work is done, guess what? You can ship tomorrow because the fucking book is done. Like there's this like dichotomy they have.
Mentality of creating a franchise and just saturate,
Yeah, well, yeah,
and
that's the we'll ship a book every month, no matter how shitty it is, right? So that's
yeah,
that side.
which is where the mainstream
But
is.
right, but you shouldn't criticize that person for coming out with product on time. Like that's retarded. You should also put the effort into your book, create a quality book, and then have something that's ready to ship, like a viable product. So like sitting there on your high horse, I guess pun intended, and then being like, okay, well, yeah, anyone could just ship a book. Like, well, no, first of all, but to your point, like, yeah, anyone could put like no effort into some bullshit and ship it and have a smaller deadline, but you seem to be forgetting the fact that like there is an expectation that your customers have where they are giving you money and expect a product in return. So when someone gives you their money, it isn't charity. They're not there to front you. Like they're not there to pay your bills. They're there to buy a product from you. And I know that's hard for people to hear because a lot of people will just come back and bitch and complain and be like, "Oh, well, what am I supposed to do?" Like, well, what you're supposed to do is get a job that pays the bills and then build up slowly over time with your passion project until that's profitable and you can switch from one to the other.
Yeah, like I may lose my shirt on this fucking deal, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and
money to burn. I'm still getting updates on books I backed in 2018, like The Dragon Guard. I don't even fucking open the emails.
Well, I'll let you guys.
And I met those guys or was clued into them off of Raging Golden Eagle, and they've been working. It's literally 2018 is when I backed their shit, and I
Right.
don't care anymore. I don't even want the fucking book.
Right, exactly. Well, and I'll let you on a secret.
Keep my money. You got me.
Right, you got me exactly. And then you're not going to buy anything else from them because now
Nope.
they're in the grifter category because for all intents and purposes, they have scammed you.
They have. They COVID this and blah 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 that. And
Yeah, but you took someone's fucking money.
Your emails.
Yeah, you took someone's money. So, like, people want to ignore this, and I guess it's because of the people pushing this mentality. But like, it's basic human nature that if you give someone the carrot, they're not going to work. Like, why the fuck would people be more incentivized to work when you've already given them reward, which is your money?
Yeah.
So, like, I get that crowdfunding is like this big opportunity for indie people. Like, we're indie, we do crowdfunding, so that I'm not knocking it, but you can't look at it as like with dollar signs as like, oh
You can't depend on that money to get your product done. You have to find a way to get your product done regardless, and then that money is gravy.
Yep, that's the key. You can't be dependent. And a lot of these guys are dependent on that, and that's where they fall. That's where shit falls apart. because they basically they create a Ponzi scheme. They like unintentionally, I assume, but they fall into essentially a Ponzi scheme where they're like, okay, I need more money to pay whatever, whether it's like another guy or their bills or anything, and they keep taking money, and they got the money. So where's the and there's clearly a disclaimer from the platform where they're like, look, we don't guarantee that. So what's the, they're not thinking long term about the goodwill. They're just thinking in the short run, and they get desperate, and then a lot of this shit falls apart.
Yeah, and a lot of people just have an idea, and
They
then
get this entitled attitude about, oh well, I deserve your money.
yeah.
And oh, how dare you get mad at me or point out the fact that I haven't fucking delivered a product? Like,
I guess the main point, and I'm going to just reiterate, as I tend to do, if you don't got it, don't do it. If you have to rely on people to pay for you to actually make your idea to fruition, then don't do it. Because I know you want to make your dreams come true and shit like that, but this is reality. And the bottom line is that I've got suckered into so many of these fucking schemes. Like, oh, I have this great idea. Okay, I'll give money. Here you go. And I never saw a dime of it because the person either couldn't manage their shit or didn't get it done, or they didn't get enough money. Well, you should have enough money to get it done regardless. And then whatever you get is just payback.
yeah, you're getting
Maybe
you're recouping expenses, or you get to put it towards the next book, right? So now you have money to pay for the next adventure, and you don't have to pay for it anymore.
earmark, if you're not an artist, around 15 grand. Period.
Yeah, I mean, depends on your budget and the page rate and the. Well, it depends if you want to make a full, like a graphic novel or just a little one-off, right? Like, I mean, hell, I went to a local convention in this area, and there was a guy, and he owned it. He was like, I've been drawing for like a month, and I made this shitty little comic about like a redneck who has superpowers when he gets drunk and drinks beer. And I was like, that's fucking, huh?
Dude, that's awesome.
That's what I said. I'm like, that's fucking great. And it matched because the book looked shitty. Like, and it's like, yeah, it played into the fact that he obviously isn't a good artist, but it was funny. And like the comic, I mean, there's still word balloons. Like, you could still read the words and know what's going on. It was interesting. It was funny, and I got a copy.
The concept itself, it's like I'd buy it right there on the spot.
Yeah, it was something like that, or it was like, the guy is like a super powered like roofer or whatever. He's in construction or something. It was something like that. But like, the point is, yeah, he did it, and he was selling books at this show, and a lot of guys that I meet at these shows, like, yeah, their book's not like the highest quality, but they're out doing it, and you get a lot more respect from that. I mean, be that what it may be, like maybe that's not important to you, and I'm not talking about like the validation of your peers of like the big comic industry and publishers. I'm just talking about people who actually you meet, in the real world, and like people who are custom.
A good story and so
people, and
funny.
Right. Well, and people that you want to be repeat customers, like you want to build goodwill between your customers. I mean, I just looked at the financial statements and sales for Shattermare. It wasn't a lot, but like, we don't do that much, to be honest. I mean, we pulled back a lot last year to focus on the content that we're working on. And when I thought about that, I was like, wow, we actually had a pretty good fucking year, all things being considered. And a lot of that is just because of a handful of people that want to keep reading the book, like that we've cultivated, over the course of a couple of years. It's like, these people are signed up, they're subscribed, like they get a book every release. It's not every month now because we can't afford to do that at the level of quality that we want to do. But like, you know, they're subscribed. They like the book. They're like, yeah, whenever you guys put it out, let me know. I'm gonna keep reading. I enjoy it. And you don't get that when you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna take your money and then get you like, yeah, you've got some guys that are like kind of cult of personality, but in the long run, that's just as bad as going, hey, I'm gonna get a shitty book out every month. Do you want this shitty book? And it's like, no, I don't want a shitty book,
Because
but
I could just go to Marvel or DC for that.
it doesn't matter. Anyone, Marvel, DC, anybody. Like, no, I don't want a shitty book. Well, forget about that shitty book. I've got a new shitty book out this month. It's like, bro, I'm not buying any more of your stuff because it's dog shit. It's like, oh, I mean, it's just the other side of the same coin. Like, you want a good balance of fast and quality, and then the price will settle in the market. Like people are willing to pay.
It's like I
So
ordered John Malin's. Might as well just put it out there. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, some people, but it is what it is.
120 or something for his package for Godlike. I got the T-shirt and everything, and that was in 2020 or 2019. Probably 2020, and I got it just last year, 2024, and I didn't. It was not good. The art was very samey. Everybody looked the same. So this idea that John Malin's this fucking god of art, there were things I couldn't even tell what was going on. I couldn't tell one character from another, and
yeah,
I couldn't tell what was going on. And that's $120 I really want back. I'm not
well,
buying.
here's the thing. Like, if you tell people all the time what you're doing and you don't deliver it, and like these guys are also internet personalities now, so they have to, they're talking about and promoting their stuff. If you're talking about John Malin specifically, and the longer you wait, the higher your expectation is. Like, I guarantee you, if they didn't spend all that time collecting people's money and dragging their feet, you wouldn't care. But the fact that it took, how long did you say it took for you to get it?
4 years.
4 years. For 4 years of you taking people's money and sitting on your fucking ass doing live streams and not working on a book, or however often you actually work on the fucking book, that better be the goddamn best fucking comic book I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
Like that book, like, better jerk me off. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
it
had
has.
struggled to get through it, and I can't even remember it, and I never want to touch it again.
There you go.
It's like a lot of Eric July's books. It's like I've read them, I can't remember them. I just know that I don't want to reread them.
Right, but at the end result's the same. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Is like these guys will complain. And we're going on a long tangent, I guess, on the subject. But yeah, it really is better if you don't tell people what you're working on a lot, and you tell people when it's ready, and you provide them a quality, or at least the highest quality you can make.
Close to ready.
Yeah, and it's ready or it's about to be ready. And the great thing about crowdfunding is it's still a very good pre-order platform. Like, it's very good to get a good idea of what your initial order run's going to be, so that way you can decide, okay, great, how many of these am I going to print? Am I going to print more for retail? Am I going to print more to have? Is this basically a limited run for these people and that's it? Like, if this is the first edition version of this book, all of that stuff. That's really good to plan. Like, when you can have the numbers in front of you a couple months before you go to production and fulfillment, and say, great, I don't have to guess, because that was a huge part of the comic industry when you went with the publisher back in the day. Just printing, oh yeah, I guess I just have to print like 500 books. It's like, well, are you actually going to sell that many? Who knows? Right? Like, but you never know.
I'll be right
No,
back. Gotta use the restroom.
sure. But yeah, so nowadays you have the luxury of being able to plan that stuff out. That's the value, in my opinion, for us of crowdfunding is, and then obviously the value for like as a customer, like if I buy someone's stuff, it's really cool to be able to get a super awesome collector's version with a bunch of cool stuff. Um, like I just backed something recently that I'm getting updated emails from, and I'm like, yes, I'm getting more and more excited about this thing. So yeah, there's value on both ends, but you can't. I guess at the end of the day, you can't take advantage of people. That's the moral of the story. But you got to use it for what it's valuable for. You got to use it for knowing what your numbers are going to be for your order and fulfillment. You can't use it as like you can't be dependent on it. Like you're a medieval artist and Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or Fund My Comic or whatever is like a rich, wealthy patron where they just float your like it's your fucking sugar daddy. And if you think that works for some people, okay, sure, but it doesn't work for most people. So you really shouldn't look at it that way. Yeah, you should. In the long run, like people can tell, and they appreciate what you're doing when they know, especially when you're an independent. Like, yeah, if you're a company, no one gives a shit about Jeff Bezos. People, in fact, people are super envious of Jeff Bezos. But when you actually can communicate with someone directly, like a small business or an independent person, when you have something to show for it, like all the effort and time and energy you put into something, and you make something good, people appreciate that. You're like, wow, you did this? Yeah. It's like, oh man, you were working on this the whole time? Yeah, it's here. Great, I'll buy it. There isn't this you know, at least that's what I've seen kind of on the independent creator side. Customers, it's like they're never going to articulate that to you, but you'll know in other ways. But yeah, like when you talk to other creators and they're like, "Oh wow, you've been working on this the whole time," and "Oh, you're putting it out. What's the next thing you guys are working on? Come on, what's the next thing? We want it. What are you working on? I got this issue. When's the next issue coming out? It takes too long for you guys to put out an issue." Well, that's another problem, but another problem for another day.
Yeah.
But
update on the fires. There's a fire in the Hollywood Hills, so maybe they'll burn
shit.
that freaking sign down.
Yeah, maybe it can take out, pretty much the whole hills and
I mean,
Rodeo Drive and West
that be
Hollywood.
symbolic of what Hollywood's done to us.
Yeah, fucking dumpster fire. Just burn it all the way, like a cancerous growth on the side of the country.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, I mean, I had family out there. I say had. It's not like they're dead, but they're dead to me, basically. But yeah, like I have family out there, and I'm just like, I have a secondhand embarrassment for them for being there.
As far as Hollywood, I did get to see that Nosferatu movie, and
How's that? I heard it's pretty good.
it's good.
Cool.
It's good, but it does drag at times. But the original Nosferatu was kind of boring as well, to be honest. I mean, a lot of people say they saw it, but they never actually did. It's kind of one of those. And this is kind of a shot for shot remake, but the first act and the second act is really good. The third act isn't as strong. There's some good performances. There's some, but overall with Eggers, you get what you get. Like a lot of his movies are good. The art is there, but they're not totally rewatchable. If you know what I mean, like
sure. Yeah,
Like,
older movies are kind of like that. I mean, if
yeah,
it's that close to the original, like a remaster, it's
yeah.
it's gonna be. I mean, that's fine. The older I get, though, the more I appreciate those. I don't need like a quick
Yeah,
pace.
I think Hollywood needs a guy like him with that artistic, to just show the art of filmmaking and cinematography, and this isn't fast food entertainment. It's
Right.
and so I recommend it, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's a classic or anything. Again, a lot like his films. I've seen them. I appreciate them, but I don't rewatch them over and
Yeah.
over like a.
Well, we excuse me, it's getting late. We give people a lot of shit, like for example, that Spider-Man animated show we looked at the trailer for earlier.
Yeah.
But everyone's a critic now, So like kind of the problem, like it's a double-edged sword, the internet, where it's really easy to be critical and point out the flaws and stuff, but it's hard to appreciate something,
Yeah.
or look for the good in some stuff because everything's amplified and humans are like moth to negative energy flame, the flame that's like negative energy on the internet. So I'm not saying I'm going to watch that shitty animated Spider-Man. I might actually, but if it's like something from its
Give it a
time,
try. I mean, if you have I don't have a Disney sub, and
I
but
don't
when they say it's
think I
from the
do.
creators of X-Men '97, that's bogus. It's from Disney.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
First made X-Men '97, which had good animation, or better than that.
Yeah, even that quality of animation, well, I should say even that quality, like that was good. I don't understand why they're moving away from that. That's why the only thing I can think is that it's just made for little kids because they're just putting no effort into it, and so they think, oh, these kids will just watch it. They
Yeah,
don't give a shit.
that's probably it. They're just making it for little kids. But as somebody who was a
We'll
little
see.
kid who grew up on Spider-Man, who learned to read from Spider-Man comics, they had animated stuff in
Yeah, we
those
just sent better stuff.
and
It is what it is.
better
Like,
than that.
right. But like for example, Nosferatu. I mean, look, I enjoyed the Voyage of the Last Demeter. I mean, I know you didn't really like that Dracula
It
or
was
that
it was
vampire movie,
okay.
but
You know what? I gave it a rewatch, and I liked it better on the second time.
yeah, I appreciate it for what they're doing, and it's interesting. Some stuff is interesting, but it like so that's kind of how I would go into the Nosferatu movie. It's like if it's slower, that's fine. I don't need to have
You have to be in the right mindset. It is not a popcorn flick.
yeah, that's
It's just,
fine.
it is not a
Like I don't need that. I'm not necessarily looking for it. If I am, I'll just go,
go see
watch,
Sonic 3 or something.
yeah, or watch another Squid Game or whatever. Yeah, like it's not or the uh there's an animated DC what's it? It's Creature Commandos I think now is out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I want to kind of watch that cuz James Gunn's stuff is all tied together, so it's kind of interesting that that's a part of, or is it? Yeah, is it that? It's not another Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But just going into that, I'm trying to be less critical. Like, I'm not just gonna. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to articulate this. Like, I'm not just gonna give something extra credit for being shittier, but like, there's merit in a lot of stuff that people put out. A lot of the, people are trying to make art on some level. So I want to appreciate some stuff for what it is, as long as it's not offensive. Like, if it's not insulting my intelligence, like it's one thing if someone tries to do something, it's like, okay, great. Well, I see what you're going for there, and you know, it was kind of shitty, but like you're not just trying to insult my intelligence. Like you're not obviously pushing propaganda. Like you're trying to tell a
Right.
story.
I mean, if they're staying true to some kind of, that's what Nosferatu stayed true to the source material and to
Yeah.
the.
So if you're trying to,
So it wasn't made for modern audiences. Where if you take something like
yeah.
Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, that's a complete abomination of Tolkien. So
Right. Yeah. Like so stuff like that. I mean, even the new Dune show, the Dune Prophecy show, um, a lot of that is actually based off of the guy's son's stuff, which is technically not canon. I mean, it's not the original author; it's his son, and I guess his writing partner or whatever. But you know, it's interesting enough. Like it's in the Dune universe. I fucking love the Dune universe. Um, it's scratching the itch of seeing more content. Is it the best? No, and at times it's like, okay, I know they did this story specifically because they just want female main characters, like they want to show the Bene Gesserit, and but at the same time, like they're not afraid to show how shitty and evil these fucking horrors are. Like it's like pretty. Uh, I want to say like I don't want to say faithful to the source material because again, it's like based on source material that's not technically canon, and then they're also changing some stuff from that. So it's like 2 degrees of separation from faithful, but it's like close enough. You know, it's like respectful enough, and
well, you
it's
might have a higher tolerance level, like.
I guess, but
Or the
like,
Rohirrim is probably close enough for some people,
but I'm not gonna watch it.
yeah.
It's like I recognize when stuff is just like blatant propaganda, but
Yeah.
there is some stuff that to me it's like, okay, you actually made an effort. Like it's almost like some like nowadays I would be shocked if someone is working in Hollywood that didn't have to bend over and like get fucked by
Well, I think
the
Eggers,
retarded.
the guy who did Nosferatu, is that guy
Yeah.
because he's
Okay.
done. This is his fourth film, and every one of his films is a period piece,
Okay.
and it's all white people in every one of his films. His first film was The Witch, and it took place in like puritanical America, basically during like the witch trials and stuff. Everybody's white.
Okay.
All right. And the thing about his cinematography is he takes you, you want escapism, he takes you there. He will take you to that place. And then his second movie was The Lighthouse, and that was basically a two-man movie with Robert Pattinson and William.
Oh, okay. That was that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one was good.
Yeah, that was good. And that was like the pre-industrial, probably 18, whatever. And then you had The Northman, which was a Norse.
Oh, that was him too? Okay, I saw that.
Yeah.
That movie was awesome. I enjoyed that movie.
Okay, so he did Nosferatu. So it has that
Okay,
same
great.
eclectic taking you to that castle. And you can actually,
that's cool.
when you watch it, and there's not enough of it, of the castle and all that, but you can feel the evil coming off of that cat. Like, he takes you there. And again, it's white people. It just happens to be that way. You know, because he's not going to put a black person or an Asian person in the Northman, is he? No.
Yeah. Well, I have a better example I just thought of. Because like Dune Prophecy, I think is good enough because it's obviously like, well, they're working in Hollywood, it's a major production on HBO, so they have to promote the women's, but they're showing them as they are, like in the universe, like they're true to the lore of how Bene Gesserit are. A better example, even over that, would be Arcane. Have you seen that? It's an animated show on Netflix based off League of Legends characters, like League of Legends, the
I saw
video
the
game.
first season,
Yeah,
and it was good. I liked it.
yeah, they have a second season, and it's pretty solid. And that's like probably the height of like DEI progressive fucking liberal checkbox. I mean, like literally the main characters are girls, and I'm pretty sure they're lesbians. Like maybe, definitely one of them is, and they're not even real biological. Are they biological sisters? I don't even think so. So like a lot, there's like no, there's like they're not the nuclear family, right? They're not traditional family at all. It's of course focusing on the underclass, right? So it's like very leftist liberal, as in like let's focus on and trying to make out the poor people as much victim as possible of their situation, despite them literally being villains and fucking terrorists, right? But even with that, which is like a lot of the subtext that goes through that show, they're still well written characters, and the animation is fucking incredible. And
I've
like,
heard mixed reviews about season 2.
yeah, I mean
But when we get to Nosferatu,
there's some ups and downs.
somebody broke it down and say this is another movie where the woman is the key to everything, and it never dawned on me when I was watching it, but kind of true.
Well, yeah, she's
Kinda true.
well, yeah, his wife, and then like
Yeah.
Nosferatu wants her, and he's caught in the middle. Yeah, but
As far as the performances,
women are always passive characters. The problem is when
So-
you try to supplant the
Yeah.
male role with the woman, and she's still a passive character. That makes it fucking boring.
and of course she was, but her performance, Johnny Depp's daughter, at times it was good, and at times it was like cringe. It was like, Will Dafoe was good, but he wasn't as good as he was in The Lighthouse. But Skarsgård was off his ass, and so
That's
was
good.
that other guy who played Lex Luthor in those clips we saw earlier. Those guys were fantastic. But
Yeah,
Skarsgård,
they're good.
God, he was in like the best movie I've seen in a while. And then I tried to watch Borderlands the other day, and I got about
Ew.
30 minutes into it, and it was
Ew.
terrible. Then I tried to watch The Crow, and Skarsgård was in The Crow, and I'm like, this is fucking awful.
Yeah, I think the only Bill Skarsgård movie, or the last one I can remember, is like I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. It's like Boy Kills World or something. I watched it on the airplane.
Did you ever watch It
Oh yeah, yeah.
when he was Pennywise?
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, so I've seen that, the newer ones.
Yeah. So
Okay, so yeah.
he was Pennywise, and he was
good
Count
actor.
Orlok in this, and he was fantastic. And he's like the new Ron Perlman, where if you put makeup on the guy, he just nails it.
Sure, I believe that. So yeah, but like set aside that movie where it actually seems to be pretty intentionally artistic. That it's like one of the a few guys in Hollywood that can somehow get away with that. But generally these people, if you're working in the industry, especially if you want to get something produced, because a lot of these people, they don't have the money. It's these producers and studio heads that are pushing this bullshit. Like you're gonna have to put some kind of bullshit. But like Arcane is still a good example, going back to that, because it's pretty much as progressive of animated shows you can get. But they actually tell very well written stories and deal with like really interesting themes of human nature and philosophy, and like there's really interesting character arcs, and some interest. It's like some, I don't want to spoil the season 2 for you if you're going to watch it, but some pretty crazy stuff happens. So, and yeah, like some of the interrelationships between the characters are interesting. So it's like, so like that's probably the quintessential example I can point to where it's like, even if you're super liberal lefty, there's hope for you, to making an actual interesting, good story with characters. But like, the irony is that
Take
all
an
of
existing property and then turn it into that. That's kind of
well, even that's not the issue. The issue is that even in Arcane, those character relationships and tropes, those those are in every good story. Like, you can't get away with that. You can't get away from that. So if you try to escape it, because one of the main characters, Vi, like,
the character and the plot has to come first, and then whatever messaging can be underneath, it can't get in the way. And that's when we say something's woke or something. That's what we mean, is that the message and the bullshit is getting in the way of characters and story.
right. And like you said, it does help where it's like mostly an original IP. I mean, yeah, it's based off video game characters, but I'm not familiar at all. So for me, these characters are just what they are in the show. There's no context. There's no expectation. Like, I don't have an expectation of Vi. When I watch that show, I think, oh, okay, this easily should be a male character, but you just decided to make her female. Whatever.
Yeah, well, like I watched the
Whatever.
Cyberpunk animated show on Netflix.
Mm.
It was basically you should watch it. But the main character is a Mexican living in Japan.
Sure.
Like, and you got female, you got this and this, but it's cyberpunk and it's fucking awesome. And it's
I'll have to watch that one.
There's 8 episodes or something, and it's really hot. It ties into the video game, but you don't have to have played the video game to have watched it. But if you play the video game, I guess it really, pops. I haven't played.
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, there's a cyberpunk something or another. You'll find it on Netflix. Just do cyberpunk.
But
it has a lead. I don't think there's any white people in it, and it's dystopian and what have you, and it's really just badass. And so, because the stories and the characters definitely take precedent, and but like if Nosferatu was made for a modern audience, imagine how that would look.
It would be so gay. Well, there's a yeah, there's a good
Black
example.
Dude, or like, what the fuck,
Well, there's a good example of that. What's the movie called? I was watching a review on it, and it was a adaptation. So it was like a Swedish or Norwegian, it was a European movie, and they took that movie and they turned it into an American version. But the American version stripped all the essence away. Maybe it was on a Critical Drinker video, but it stripped away everything that made that movie good. And part of that was because they had to make the male character, the husband, basically subordinate to the wife, like the female character.
Okay.
So she basically takes over and saves the day, and there's a happy ending, which didn't happen at all in the other movie. In the other movie, the ending is bad because it's a part of the theme of the story, and it's a good story, even though it's not a happy story.
It's very like Shakespearean.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. You're right. But they completely destroyed the story in the American version because of the stupid shit they put in. That's just propaganda, and it's just spiteful.
Yeah.
And like, I've met people out there that are like well-intentioned. Obviously tends to be younger people. They're like liberal. They don't know better. But like, they have these ideas, and they're just like normie liberal ideas or like progressive ideas. And like, to those people, if anyone's out there and you actually listen to this show, you need to know this stuff, because it may be almost like subconscious at this point, like the way you think about it, but people aren't going to like you, and they're not going to buy your shit if you're spiteful and you write stories and you think like, oh, this will really show it to like this will really like show the Christians when I'm just like a spoiled.
They wanted to own the chuds.
Right, like, oh, I'm owning these guys. Oh, I'm really.
They're gonna get bought out next year.
Right, that just makes you a stupid, spoiled child, like rebelling against your parents.
There's a
Like,
really
that's
good
all you are.
Friend of mine. Her favorite book and one of her favorite movies is To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, and they're banning that in schools.
Why? Because it's not progressive enough.
Right, because the story is about a black man back in the days when there was real racism.
Right.
When if a black man,
The good old days. Am I right?
well, when a black man, if he even looked at a white woman, could get hung by the KKK, right? Like, so,
Well, or just like, yeah, just a bunch of white guys will just white knight for the woman and then
exactly,
go lynch the black guy.
and that's what it's about. So this black man is accused of raping a white woman, but guess what? Here's the catch.
Okay.
It's a false accusation.
Right. Kind of like today.
Yeah. So we can't have that because we have to believe all women. So I started to think about, well, if they remade it, how would they do it? Okay. I mean, think about it. They would have to change everything. They would have to change the attorney, which in the film was played by Gregory Peck.
Yeah. Well, in the movie, it would be played by like, what's that guy? What's that guy's name that's in the Last of Us TV show?
Oh, I don't. Oh, fuck. Pedro Pascal?
Pedro Pascal would be the lawyer.
I would think Denzel Washington,
Oh, sure. Denzel Washington. Yeah.
But then the defendant would be white and the woman would be black, but it wouldn't be a false accusation.
Right. Yeah, he would just.
And that's To Kill a Mockingbird, folks.
Right. He would just rape her.
Yeah, he actually did it and he got fried for it, and fuck him.
Right.
Yeah.
It would just be a thriller.
But seriously, that's what To Kill a Mockingbird.
It'd be like the remake of The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Did you see that movie?
Yeah, I did.
You know what? Like, if that movie wasn't The Invisible Man, I would have enjoyed that movie a lot more. But the whole time I was watching that movie, I'm thinking, really? Like, you think some guy gives a shit about you? Like, they always have these women that look like the actress from fucking Handmaid's Tale. And I'm like, you are so ugly.
Yeah.
You're so fucking ugly.
They look like the chick in like Big
Holy
Bang,
shit.
where they're just like mid.
Yeah, like horribly mid. It's like you really think this like Dorian Gray, fucking billionaire scientist who invented a suit that like refracts light to make them invisible. You think he gives a shit about stalking you? Ugh. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah. No, but that's my remake for To Kill a Mockingbird, and that really is the only way they could do it.
And then all the YouTubers would just
completely shit all over the source material, and of course, once they do that, they would say you're a racist for not.
But then all the normie YouTubers would just be like, "Oh, if you really wanted to make this right, then the rapist wouldn't be white; he'd be Muslim." Ah. I mean, that's the joke I would make.
Yeah. Well, it could be. Who knows?
And anyway, yeah. So it fuck it, whatever.
But no, Nosferatu is really kind of it came out at the wrong time. Kind of a classic gothic horror. You got to be in the right mood. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes, so it's not too long of a running time.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I just have to watch it, find time on my own because my wife.
I think it'd be a good
despises horror movies
to catch on streaming or whatever. It's doing okay.
Yeah, it might not be in the theaters by the time we get. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna watch Cyberpunk and then I'm gonna watch that. for sure.
Now, that Cyberpunk show, I think you'll enjoy a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's called Edge Runners. Edge Runners.
Oh, right. Yeah, it does. It does make me kind of sad as we're talking about this to just think like, it's okay to be white.
It
Like
is.
it's sad that it's like I'm thinking like, wow, there's a lot of good Korean media that's on Netflix now. Like there's a lot of good Korean TV shows and movies.
Yeah,
It's like,
Squid Game 2 just dropped.
yeah, I just watched that. It's like it's okay that Koreans can make quality stuff and just drop it straight onto Netflix and oh yeah, it's great that we'll host your stuff. Don't worry about it. No,
And it's all
no,
Korean people, right?
no
Like,
Netflix remakes. Yeah, it's all
it's all
Koreans.
Korean people.
It's
And
all
nobody
Korean
has a
people.
problem. I don't have a problem with it.
And that's okay, but you
Yeah.
can't have a white show because we hate white people. So
Yeah.
every time we do anything that's like especially if it's based on like an actual real historically white person, they're like, oh, we got to put a black person in there. It's like,
Yeah.
it just makes me sad that people like these people are that racist, like legitimately racist that they fucking
they
hate
are.
white people.
They
You're
hate.
like, it makes me sad
That's
for those
like
people.
Eggers, his films really should be considered in some capacity for an Oscar, but because of the DEI and Oscar rules, you have to have a certain amount of diversity in a film
Yeah.
to even be considered. So something like Nosferatu will never be considered. And I don't think it deserves best film or something, but definitely cinematography or there are some performing, but it's not even going to be considered. None of his films have ever been considered. Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse was off his ass. Probably the best performance I've ever seen from him. And Robert Pattinson in that film. And
Yeah.
nobody was considered because there's just two white guys in a lighthouse. And
Yep.
basically fighting with each other. And so but I appreciate somebody like Eggers who respects source material and the actors involved. Because William Dafoe has been in every one of Eggers' films since The Witch. He saw The Witch and he wanted to get involved with this guy.
Yeah.
And so
But
he was in,
William, you just want films without black people. You just want white people films.
yeah, I guess that's no. Look, if the period piece in the geography calls for it, absolutely. If he made a film about Africa, a Zulu film, I'd go see it.
Yeah.
You
Liberal
know,
people used to be very creative, and they're just really lazy now.
or I think he's up to do a remake of Labyrinth. I hope it doesn't happen.
That's cool.
Just because Labyrinth is just a classic. Just don't touch it. David Bowie, just don't.
I guess. Yeah, I'm not really invested in it, so I wouldn't really care one way or the other.
Yeah.
But these people just need to make more original stuff. I mean, I understand they don't want to succeed on their own merits because then they can't just parasitically leech off of something else that's popular or was popular. But I wish just more people would
Thing is,
make their
bro,
own shit.
there's nothing original on the slate this year. Very few. In fact, Gary and those guys went through it. They're making another "I Know What You Did Last Summer" movie. They're making another Jurassic Park movie. They're making
Yeah.
they're making Five Nights at Freddy's, but they're going to release it in December 5th. And it's like, you idiots don't know that the reason why Five Nights at Freddy's made $300 million is because you released it before Halloween, and it was the only horror movie before Halloween. It wasn't that great a movie. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, but it's got a big cult following.
Yeah,
So it actually made a lot of money.
But it was also a Halloween. You know how in Halloween you want to take your date,
Yeah.
go to a
Well, yeah.
movie or something? They're going to release it on December 5th.
Oh, you know what's funny?
Dumb.
Yeah, that's stupid. this has nothing to do with this, but when I was watching Arcane, my wife is like, Brian, why are you watching this? I was like, what do you mean it's a good show? And she was like, these people are all like weirdos. They're like lesbians and fucking like, are you okay? Like, why are you watching this? I'm like, it's actually a well written show. So I was trying to maybe I'm just coping. I don't know, but it's funny. My wife is pretty based.
I'm not gonna change my comic, am I? Like, does Bane have to become a trans?
No, I wouldn't actually do that.
Would be more in line.
No,
with...
I would. No, I wouldn't actually publish anything. That's why all the characters in our book are white.
Yeah.
Except the villains. Obviously, they're black because they're orcs, right?
Yeah, if you look at the slate
not,
for next week's,
I'm not sorry about it either.
It doesn't look good as far as if you want a non-sequel or a non-remake or a non-throwback to the past. Like, I know what did Gary Colley calls it? I know what you did back in 1997 summer.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's why we make our own stuff. It's more interesting. I mean, I just spend more time catching up on comic book stuff.
Like, who fucking greenlighted that?
I mean, I understand most, like, not everyone can be creative. It's like the 80-20 rule, you know, or Pareto principle. But
Hollywood should be the bastion of creative people, and the video game
it used to be.
It's not.
Yeah, but video games is the same way, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, eventually the market will correct itself. So, it's I don't know. I'd hate to be one of these YouTubers that's like, this is constantly what they have to talk about and think about. Because to me, it's exhausting. It's like, okay, well, I'm just not going to watch that shit. It's as simple as that. I'm just not going to do it.
Pegged as shitting on everything will look at something that's good and say, go see this, you know, go see Landman, go see, you know, whatever, you know, go see The Gentleman, go see Nosferatu, go see, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so much to shit on, and I don't think people want to be that guy. It's just you have to be that guy because there's just too much wrong than there is.
Well, Big Negative gives you attention, so, you know, clicks and stuff. But
like, I would love to have a channel where I talk about great Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Star Trek, but it doesn't exist.
Well, I'll teach you how to edit video, and then we can make video.
And just say, well, it's content. I got to consume it and just enjoy it. It's like, no, this is not up to par. And I got to call.
I got to send you the link to, remind me, I got to send you the link to, shout out to, what's his channel's name? Pilgrim? Is it Pilgrim Pass? He's a Catholic. He's a Catholic YouTuber, and he does a lot of kind of like video essays on. Yeah, it's called Pilgrim's Pass. So like he'll, for example, I'm looking at like a video right here where the title is "The Forgotten Femininity of Arwen," like from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You know, so he'll do like video essays on that kind of stuff and talk about, you know, kind of stuff we're talking about. Sometimes he'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into
things were done in the past, but it wasn't overwhelming down your throat. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you just got to check out from all that shit. That's what I'm saying. I don't really care about all the bad stuff. Like, I'm just more interested nowadays because also I don't spend as much time as I used to like watching. I mean, I spend more now than I probably should because I'm married, and women just like to fucking watch TV. But they consider that like, you know, quality time if you're just sitting next to each other or whatever. But yeah, like I just don't have time to watch a bunch of movies and
I don't.
TV.
I don't
Like,
either.
so
I don't
I
either. If anything, I've gotten back into watching sports or football because they kind of done away with all that kneeling for the national anthem and bullshit, and like they realized that their fans left and they changed their tune. Put it that way.
yeah.
The NFL, at least.
Well, like these companies are starting to ditch the DEI policies and stuff now because it's like, okay, finally, I don't know. We'll see how things go. It
And
seems like
the thing about sports is, it's the last merit-based form of entertainment left. Because if you don't win, you're fired.
sure.
Which is how it should be at Lucasfilm or Ubisoft or Marvel Comics. It's not that way because they're being propped up, but the bottom will fall out for them as well.
Yeah. Um, I usually bet against my local football team because the Jaguars are awful.
Yeah.
But the betting website, like when they track or they try to track your IP address, I can't log into my account. So since we've been in Colombia, I missed like three to four solid weeks of just free money. I think they did win one more game,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like betting against that team.
They'll be better next
Yeah.
year.
That's what everyone says.
They will.
So,
They will.
well, I hope not. But yeah, I guess we could probably wrap it up there and
Okay.
get to bed soon. But yeah, well, I enjoy talking about and doing our recommendations of stuff we like because it's fun to go see something interesting that's satisfying. Like I enjoyed the second season of Squid Game. I don't. There's some issues I had, I guess, if I had to think of some, but
It's not as strong as the first season.
yeah, but I didn't care. Like,
Yeah, it was okay though.
like, why would it be? You know,
First season had that shock value.
like how could you go into it thinking anything else, right? Like it's
Yeah.
more familiar. But I like the characters. I like what they're doing with the existing characters. Obviously, they have to add new characters if they're going to have another games. So, yeah, I think it was enjoyable. I mean, I'm not a critic, I guess, so I don't have to sit down and like with a notepad and make notes. I just thought it was solid.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
looking
say
forward to season 3. The only
8 out of 10, maybe. I think the first season's a 9 or a 10 out of 10. It blew me away. I mean, the first season.
Yeah, the first season was great. The second season, I guess if I had to say anything about it, that's weird. It's like it's missing another 2 episodes.
That's it.
Like it ends on this weird cliffhanger, and I was like, oh, okay, great. Okay, great. They're leading up to another really cool episode or whatever. And then I was like, wait a second, that's it? Like there's 7 episodes? And that's it. There's no like, oh, we're gonna release the other half, in like a month or whatever. It's like
Yeah, it's not like Cobra Kai where something else is coming.
yeah, like no, that's the season 2. I'm like, that's weird. It's like a part 1. So oh well. Whatever. But yeah, I gotta catch Nosferatu and Cyberpunk. I might probably watch that tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you'll like the Cyberpunk
Yeah.
series. And that's kind of an older, that's what, 2 years old? Year and a half? Shortly
Yeah.
after the video game came out. And
Oh, I have one more thing I want to do a shout out to. We're not affiliated with any of these people, in case people are wondering, but this is something I was talking about where you're going to the bathroom or whatever. I just kind of alluded to it, but this is kind of I don't know if you would call this indie. It's basically independent at this point. I want to start doing a segment where this is obviously the end of the show, but I'll start doing a segment where we look at like indie productions, like other Kickstarters or stuff we like that in that vein as well, instead of just like typical pop culture stuff. So they're doing a Soul Reaver, the Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver prequel graphic novel.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it was funded on September 12th, but you can still do a late pledge, and I think you could still probably get the book. I think I backed the digital version. So that's cool. Soul Reaver was a series that also kind of has a cult following. I know TFM's a pretty big fan of it.
Actually, Soul Reaver right now has been re-released.
Yes, they're remastering 1 and 2, and I don't know if that's. I think there's a link.
It's out.
Oh, okay. So
it's out. It's been reviewed. I think Razor Fist was playing it last.
Yes.
Day.
So look, yeah. So look, they did the 1 and 2 remaster. Yeah. So they did a collection. You can do a pre-order. Yeah, and then they're doing. I guess if you do the collector's edition, they're also doing another little tie-in comic, like a 10-page mini comic. So that's pretty sweet. So if you guys are a fan of Soul Reaver from back in the day, like old PlayStation games, they're doing a remaster. So check that out. It's just something that came across my phone or recommendations or whatever.
Yeah, that's actually I didn't hear about that because I knew about the games. I didn't know that so.
Yeah, so they did the prequel graphic novel, and then they've got another little mini comic tie-in, and then obviously you can get the game and stuff, so that's pretty cool. But so yeah, I'm looking forward to reading my version of the prequel graphic novel. But yeah, it looks pretty legit. I mean, you go back to the campaign, they give you all kinds of information about it, and all the deluxe covers, and they were doing like replica swords, the masks. They had a vinyl. I almost ordered that. They almost got me. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't spend that much money. I'm trying to find the art for it. They had skateboards, they had all kinds of shit. Okay, so here's some of the original art you could buy. Like, look at this. This is great.
Yeah.
Look at all the colors on that. I mean, it's straight up Soul Reaver.
Yeah.
There you go. That's just disgusting, just like it should be. Yeah, and then like we were talking about, you could be drawn into the comic. I should have told TFM about this. I have to double check. I think I got the digital version. I'll probably forward it to him. But yeah, here's some of the art in the comic, and it's cool. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like this out there that we should try to find and show people, so that they have some interesting options. But yeah, man. Anything else we want to do a quick shout out before we hop off here?
I think on the next show we can talk maybe some D&D and
yeah, for sure. We should check in on the new Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
5.5, whatever they're calling their bullshit now.
They actually call it 2024. So they got rid of D&D 1 and D&D.
Wow.
Yeah.
So inventive. Okay, we'll talk about it next week. I'm gonna start bitching about. I could go on and on. So okay, well, yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you tuned in, looks like on X, we appreciate you. Just coming to hang out with us while we talk shit for a couple hours about stuff that we like and don't like, and catching up after the holidays. So we're kind of back on our regular schedule, I guess, right? So we should probably be on in the next couple weeks till the conventions comes up. Yeah, and also check out our Instagram, Shattermare Comics, Shattermare Media, Shattermare. I'll be plugging if you guys are in the Florida area and plan to come to MegaCon but have not gotten your tickets yet. They give us a little affiliate link, so I'll be shilling that because it helps us pay for our booth. So if you're interested in coming to MegaCon this year and you haven't gotten your tickets, get your tickets through our sweet link that I'm going to post. What else? I think that's it. I'll obviously look
You can
look
catch
for
me on Twitter, Morb357, and just go to ShattermareComics.com and get on the mailing list for
yes,
your guild and everything.
that's right. Get on the mailing list. If you're not on the mailing list, get on it. And I'm going to be sending out an email blast probably tomorrow. What's today? Wednesday? Tomorrow or Friday. Letting people know if you do not get on the email list specifically for Mercenary Guild, you're not going to get the extra collectibles. So do it. Hurry up and do it before it's too late. So, anything else? Did I forget?
That's it.
All right. See you guys next time.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Take it easy. Bye.
Hello, I'm William, the author and creator of Mercenary Guild, the kick-ass new 3-part dark fantasy comic by Shattermare Comics. We're very excited to bring you titles like Mercenary Guild and the new groundbreaking horror sci-fi graphic novel, Victor. For the email newsletter, please sign up at ShattermareComics.com and receive exclusives upon each launch. Then check out the latest issue of Hardly Heroes. Don't forget to grab the physical copy of Lucas the Mucus, written by the great TFM. Oh, and we have anime titties as well. Thanks again.